Hello, hello, hello. Here we are back with the second best of five today. Welcome back. I'm Yulwei, of course, not every day. And with me, Winnie for picking bands and to explain the teams to me because I have no idea what I'm looking at. Hello, Vinnie.
Hello. Yeah, I've had to run off, so you're always coming in to take over the second series. But I'm here to sort of get them started. So we've got Percent versus OPG, two mostly brand new teams. Oh, we are right into it.
That is one shiny champion select. Whoa, what
It
is going
is.
on today?
They are very nice. So OPG takes the the VGA roster from last year with Ken being simply a rename, and the addition of DK, who was a sub for Buffalo, wasn't it?
Buffalo, right?
So
Yeah,
I
he played
just
some games for Buffalo.
just straight forgot. And so we mostly know what they're doing. They've got the same roster, none of the new players so far. So no Simon, no Jerry. But we have on the other side, we have Percent. Wow, I forgot the name, even though it's staring right at me.
That's so cool.
And the lineup, Tado, the new jungler, or maybe the same one, in Yase, who may have been Eagle. Their old jungler was Eagle, but can't say for sure. But then Glory in the mid lane, Shine in the bot lane, and Lisa in the support role. This team really loves their mid laner, far and away their best player. In lane, we see weaknesses in Tado and Shine and Lisa. Not strong laners, but they all come together for team fighting. And in the picks and bans, we see pretty standard stuff from both teams so far. What do you think? Oh no, okay. We so we've got a Felios first pick, simple to go with. Uh, Good pick. Trundle, good early picks, decent early to mid game. And we see Bard picked up for Lisa. Lisa very much valuing these enchanter supports. And it seems like Yulwei's disappeared a little bit. Okay.
Okay,
You can't hear
well,
me.
every day's in
So-
to cover.
Every day's back.
So that Vinny doesn't have to solo cast Jam Select. I was going to let the big brains be big brain, but
Oh,
thankfully I was here. Apparently
Yeah.
Yulwei's sound is just gone. So what do we think of these drafts so far? Let's look at Percent first. What would you like to see them kind of round it out with? Bard is crazy, but I love it. But what would you like to see them round it out with?
so to round, we can see a lock in for the Renekton pick. I think Tado is not he is not a very strong laner. He also does not have any. Hasn't shown any proficiency towards tanks. So picking a safe pick for him might be difficult. So I think you hope the Renekton's going top and pick something for him that just straight up counters it.
Hmm.
As for Glory is
You're
good
back
on
in your
anything.
way.
Syndra's open. Pray they don't pick it in the first round, and you take that straight away. I think you just lock in Syndra for Glory, and oh no, Syndra is banned. I'm blind, so ignore all that.
Banned, it's the very first
Yeah,
ban. So.
first ban.
I'm very
So
happy
I
to
mean,
see the
same
Bard.
thing.
You
Picking his
promised me
ear.
the Bard, and there's the Bard.
There's the Bard. So I think you look to counterpick the Renekton and pick something safe like Azir for Glory. He'll carry on that fine. Just you need to limit Tado's ability to, throw the game away, and he hasn't shown his ability to play tanks.
I'm a little concerned looking at the comp for Overpower, because that is most likely just on a mid lane, right? For PHT, who played a lot of ADCs in the mid lane in the season already. So where will the AP damage come from? This is either Vit on an AP champ, which is not super usual, or they just go full on early game, full on ADC action. Last pick for Vit.
and we see more or less what I was talking about. Apparently, he can play apparently Tado can play the Aatrox.
Oh,
He
it's
did
not a
not.
tank, right? So
I mean, it's not a tank. He
yeah.
he didn't really show it. His games in the qualifier were Jax, Kennen, and Rumble. So most of those were blind picks.
Well, Jack's blind pick sounds very questionable, but I think Aatrox is more or less fine here. Of course, some people
Yeah.
really don't like the Aatrox, but both compositions look strange to me a little bit, especially with the Tristana bot lane. Now, Tristana bot, I'm not sure when was the last time we saw Tristana in the bot lane. She's really more of a mid laner right now.
Last I remember was Reckless in.
It's a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
So that's
So,
a new
but
one.
honestly, these comps look pretty much, I think, standard for the new patch.
Yeah.
The Rise is a bit of an odd one, but everything else seems standard. As I said, Lisa seems to love the enchanters, so hopefully we'll see more of that.
So, which team would you favor? I'd say I like the comp for Overpower a little bit more. I think Cassio into Rise is always a very strong pick. Also limits the ways Aphelios can play offensively into the grounded effect. Tristana into Aphelios should be good for early kills in lane as well. So I favor Overpower, especially because they've, in my opinion, probably 3 winning lanes. So they could just run away with the game in laning phase.
Yeah, I think it's probably much the same. I would say Rise Cassio is a bit more of a skill matchup, in which case I would honestly favor Glory.
Hmm.
But other than that, I think you're definitely going to see winning side lanes for Overpower, and it should make DK's job on Trundle very easy to just track the Rek'Sai and shut him down. So I think Overpower probably has this in the bag. Words are hard.
Indeed, they are. Well,
So that should be it.
Thank you very much for explaining the
Yeah,
teams.
no worries.
I was still kind of blown away by these very cool graphics. We have a very different style, and both team logos
Yeah.
fit perfectly into the background.
I really like the new the style. I hope it continues for summer.
Yeah, it's true. There's actually an interesting point now on the screen with the buffs and nerfs currently, where Bard actually got nerfed again this patch. So it's kind of surprising to see him picked up very early on for Lisa after some nerfs, some other enchanters, some other mage-like picks. Bard is kind of in between, right? He's a little bit of an enchanter, a little bit of a mage, but some other picks didn't get nerfed. So could have expected him to bring out something different, maybe a Zyra, maybe something like Lulu, which has seen some play in other regions, LEC of course, and LCK promotion tournament. So a little bit surprised.
Lisa has shown other things like the Zillion, but I think the Bard is in part of comfort. The nerfs aren't huge.
Yeah,
Just sort of Bard's sort of just a bit too oppressive, so it's just toning him down a bit. Just bring him back in line.
Yeah,
And
Bard
so
against
I
Thresh
think
is such a spicy lane matchup. Anything can
Yeah.
happen in that lane. Whoever,
I'm
it's really a skill matchup. Whoever outplays the other gets the kills, and I think there will probably be kills happening in this support matchup because it's not boring Braum. It's not just two enchanters not doing nothing against each other. It's two very strong and damage heavy champions facing off against each other.
two decent playmakers that can shut each other down, that can get the ball rolling, can set up their AD carries, and can even dish out quite a bit of damage on their own in the early game.
Yeah,
So
I think I want to put a magnifying glass on the bot lane because all the other matchups are not super interesting, right? We have Aatrox Renekton, we've seen that hundreds of times. Cassio Rise, not the most interactive lane either. So I think bot lane and jungle are the most important early on to keep eyes on. So
I I think from a champion perspective, 100%. But from a player perspective, I definitely think keep an eye on this mid lane.
Yeah.
I think I've seen good things out of Glory. I hope he can show up today, even if the rest of his team doesn't. I expect a lot from him.
Yeah, I think it would also be good for the whole tournament if the VCSB team could show up a little bit more. Because, of course,
Yeah.
we just saw, or I didn't see, but he just casted the first series. There was a big stomp for the VCS team. So if both VCS teams come in and stomp, it's not the most interesting tournament ever, right? So let's hope for a better performance out of the number 1 team from the VCSB.
Yeah, let's hope so. And we are still taking a while. We're still waiting for the spectator delay to come through. So, anything else grab your attention? Or oh no, well, I think we're here.
There we go. That was not a very long delay. Probably the standard 3-minute delay in client.
Yeah, so, probably.
There we go.
So the Rift is here. I will pass you on to the caring hands of Everyday, who will shout very loudly at things.
That I will. I do have a propensity for good shouting. Thanks very much, Vinnie, for breaking down the teams. You put in a lot of prep, and we'd have hated seeing that go to waste just because of that 3-hour pause. So yeah, thanks very much, man. We always love having you here. But we are back to the OG duo of VCS English, the Everyway duo, as we do call it, as I have to remember to actually switch over the overlay. So I was listening to what was going on, and I think these teams are interesting for sure.
Look at those summoner spells for Vit. They definitely want to go for kills in lane. And then also on the other side, double exhaust bot lane. They've learned from G2. So we will see a lot of fighting down the bot lane. We have not a single heal, not a single barrier or cleanse. So all the aggressive summoners and exhaust can be used aggressively as well. So I'm hyped for the bot lane matchup. I think something can happen down there. This could be a big snowball.
Yeah, I completely agree. One thing to point out here is you were talking about how OPG does potentially have 3 winning lanes. That's true. The one thing about that, though, is I don't think Aphelios or Aatrox ever lose lane that hard, and Aphelios in the late game should be able to 1v9.
Yep, this is Aphelios is one annoying, let's say 2 annoying champs on the other side. We have Trundle and Cassiopeia. He has to play around those 2 champs. It's not. As we have a very interesting early game.
This is a very early gank here. Glory takes a lot of damage, but a hot chocolate that was set up by the support player earlier on will heal him back up. So he's not as upset.
Like those.
Yeah, you love when your bard is waiting there with you for a nice hot chocolate.
Absolutely. Best Bard skin,
I could.
This one.
Ooh, nah, Bard.
Yeah, okay, Bard is very nice as well. But yeah, this early Trundle gank, of course, on the mid lane is something we see a lot. Trundle has very strong mid lane ganks because he can cut the mid lane short, and then it's very hard for champs without mobility to get over the pillar. So against Rice, and also on the other side, if he was on the other side against Cassiopeia, would be the same. It's very hard for them to get away. No flash blown though for Glory, so he was very, very played very calmly and waited out his moment. And now the counter gank is happening.
Absolutely. There's the flash knockup. The Rune Prism was already used. PHT will have to use his flash. And there's another flash to get forward. The overload misses, but the auto attack doesn't. And Glory will secure first blood. Kemken, who used to be Django, coming in, gets the Rune Prism, but DK flashing over the wall. Nice. And Zin says, I earned this, as he picks up the kill with the hook. It's a 1-for-1, but first blood went to a Rise, which is much better assignment of gold.
Absolutely. That hook really did not need to happen, as in wanted to show us that he's the best support in this tournament at least, which I think we can all agree on he is. But
we haven't seen all of them yet. Haven't seen much of Lisa, so maybe he'll impress us. I always like seeing a good bard. So one thing to point out, I don't know if you guys touched on it. If you did, I'm sorry for repeating it. Kemken is Django. Just a rename.
Yeah.
Same guy.
Yeah. So the old top laner still. More of the carry top laner for this team. Of course, this team used to have 2 top laners, then one just disappeared.
Chip reappeared, didn't you see? He's playing for QG. He reappeared.
Ah, right.
He surfaced.
Okay. Well,
and Tado is Taurus.
Yeah.
You remember
So
Taurus.
he played in VCS as well. I'm not sure why you renamed from Taurus to Taro,
Taurus is
but
a great name.
Fair enough. I like Taurus as well, and he was notorious for playing a lot of Aatrox, if I remember correctly. I think he was in VCS in the very first split I cast, so yeah. I remember he was a decent top laner, not outstanding, not super bad. I think he was better than Rika and also better than Hasmid in the first season. Yeah, just playing a lot of the bruisers, not many tanks, as Vinnie pointed out as well. This top lane matchup, as I said before, is something we've seen so many times.
This is very
Aatrox
boring.
needs to. Yeah, this lane is interesting in that Aatrox most of the time goes almost even, but he has almost no ability to do anything in this lane. So he's pretty much at the mercy of the Renekton player. If Renekton wants to freeze and pull his jungler up, can be a very hard matchup for Aatrox. If it's just a 1v1, I think Aatrox can just farm.
Do we think we will see a freeze in the VCS promotion tournament?
Very unlikely.
If it happens, someone needs to clip it and send it to LS and say this is the second tier of Vietnam's play. We may well have LS steal our jobs because I think he'd be too excited. This is a bit of a slow early game after the flurry of action in the mid lane. Of course, it is only 6 minutes in, but in Vietnam, you'd expect a few more kills at this point, as they are just farming it out. So one point you made was that you expect in the bot lane, you could have a situation where they go for kills, the Tristana, because there is a lot of early damage. Vit could jump in. Does the Bard kind of change that? Because Bard is so good at fending that off, because he does a lot of damage.
So, kind of, yeah. But you also have the Thresh. You have to take the Thresh into consideration as well, because I think the Bard kind of prevents Tristana from going on herself. Tristana in bot lane likes to start the fights herself and then have the support follow up some of the times. Depends on support matchup, of course. I think in this one, you can't really go for the aggressive jump forward if your support is behind you. You want to start with a grab and then follow up with jump. So you have double slow, you have a lot of CC lock and a lot of damage. Exhaust Ignite, drop on one target immediately, and ignore the other target completely. And then you can either extend the fight once you killed the first target, or you can try to jump out again. So it's a very burst-heavy comp, and I think Bard needs to be super careful to not get grabbed. Because, I don't think Aphelios has the damage to trade back in time. And then Tristana just jumps out, and Aphelios is like, well, can't we do anything now, right?
Very true.
You're definitely right in that Tristana can't aggressively jump forward without her support being like the first one to initiate the play.
Yeah, which I think is definitely helpful for Percent. We did see before they had amassed a little bit of a lead, which has now been equalized. But if Percent can go even in the lanes, I think they're pretty chuffed with that. Because as you touched on, and I'm repeating myself a little bit, OPG, Overpower, I keep reading it as Optimus Gaming because it's Optimus's team, but it's Overpower, does have very good lanes, but I think they get outscaled pretty hard. So they do need to win game.
Yeah, I don't think it's that hard of an outscale. We have Cassiopeia into Ryze. I think Cassiopeia controls teamfights against Ryze very, very successfully, and it's very hard for Ryze to actually deal damage. As we have another gang. So
Django is in a lot of trouble here. He gets popped up by the Rek'Sai, flashing away. Can Tado find them? No, he can't. But Kemken has gone down to Jase. I think that's how you say that.
Who knows?
Let's
call him Jase.
We always make up names anyway. That was a very well done gank. He was in the right place at the right time to make sure they could get that kill. And this is going very well here for Percent. They're 700 gold ahead when they would have been happy being 200 gold behind.
Yeah, absolutely are. So I want to go back to the scaling discussion because, of course, it's not super clear. So for me, whenever we see Ryze into either Cassiopeia, Azir, or Oriana, of course, Oriana the biggest counter in team fights, I'd say. It's hard to see a world where Ryze can easily team fight. So that's still a bit of a problem. He might go into side lane later on. You also have the problem of Aphelios into Trundle and Cassiopeia, so it's very hard for him to stay alive in team fights. If he stays alive for the first like 5-10 seconds, then he can turn around the free team fight and 1v5 solo carry. So there is still, I think there's still a lot of tools for OPG to also win team fights later on. So it's not lights out yet. But I agree with you. It's a little bit. It doesn't look too great with these lanes to not win early on.
That's very true. It will be an interesting game for sure. I think it's very hard to call which team comp is favoured. I sort of liked the point that maybe it's OPG's just because it's a little bit easier. Their comp's not hard. You just win lane. Yeah. Just win lane, be ahead in gold, and then you can get a lot done. Rek'Sai obviously falls off while Trundle sort of doesn't.
And also think of the burden of execution on single champions. Like point and click stun on Camcan, right? He just has to press W and flash on someone. Yeah. Not hard to do. We have the pillar. The pillar is just one ability press. That's not hard to do either. Cassiopeia a little bit more execution heavy, but compared to Ryze, I'm not sure which of the two champs is harder. This setup, I'd say,
really depends how big. It depends how broad your forehead is with Ryze. If you can hit all four buttons with your forehead, you're a good Ryze player.
I think in this team composition, Cassiopeia is actually a little bit easier to play because of the Ryze range issues. Yeah. And then with Aphelios. Aphelios typically is not the hardest champ ever to play, but against these many CC tools, it's not so easy either. So I think, I agree with you. Overpower has the much easier to execute team composition. So I'd expect them in this kind of low level of play.
This is a very interesting play that we've been watching play out while you've been making this point. Camcan Undertower will get bit. PHT's arrived. I don't think he wants to be here. No. As Yase knocks him up, Tardo comes in to tank the tower, and it was a TP in to be a free lunch for the percent players as they've got the tower as well. I don't know if you were off in your own world doing analysis, but I was watching that play out saying, what is happening? That was a weird one.
They brought the typical VCS teleport, and we have criticized this place so much.
It's PHT as well.
So the typical teleport for VCS is to teleport in when it's too late or when your team has no chance of actually doing something there. And PHT was way too late, and his team had no chance. It checked all the boxes. He went down as well. He even blew his flash there. So just the perfect introduction to VCS. And Percent is not having any of that. They're saying, okay, if you want to play VCS style, we are better than that.
Which is really good to see. This is obviously the OPG lineup, despite Overpower itself being a new org. These are VCS players. All of them played in the VCS last split. But the fact that it's Percent that is kind of saying, no, we're better than the solo queue style, we're better than the messy style, is a good sign. Because they're not actually the well, they are professional players, but not in the tier 1 league. At least most recently, some of them do have experience. I'm happy to see that. I think, as you said, should Percent win today, very long road before that happens, of course, very early doors, it's good for the tournament, because we want to see new blood.
Absolutely is. So, and I have to already question a little bit of Overpower's game plan or more how they read their own team composition, because I really didn't like how little Xin spent in lane. I think they should have gone for some kills in the lane. He got the first kill, right? Remember? So instead of going for a little bit more combat stats to force fights and win those, he went for boots. And he tried to roam, but he didn't really pull off any successful roams. He didn't go to the top lane. When top lane action was there, all the jungler was the jungle action was heavily Jase favored.
So as PHT once again has gone down. It's now 5 kills over to Percent. Yase participating in every single one of them. Has been fantastic on this Rek'Sai. Ooh, look at this!
Look
Hello!
Nice.
That is a decisive play. And there comes Yase out of the ground to get the kill. This is fantastic from Percent. They're looking amazing.
It's very smooth as well. It's like they already knew what to do when the first play happened in mid lane. They knew how to move over to the top lane, how to set up the wave. Look at the top lane right now. Aatrox is hard shoving this one in, and this is something Aatrox can't really do too often into Renekton. So he definitely communicated there very well to set up the dive. And so far, DK has not been able to find anything.
Well, he might be able to find something now, but no, Shine has gotten over to his Bard. Lisa doing a very good job screening, and they want to turn this one around. Xin is arriving from the back on the Thresh. He throws out the lantern to get THT close, but look at Lisa playing this perfectly as Shine looks like he's just going to go for the 1-for-1. Lisa has gone down, and I think this should be 2 for Overpower. And they do fire back, but that was well played out of Lisa, even if they were doomed.
And the early boots finally paid off for Xin. He got wrapped around, and no one expected him to be there. So he actually got the flash over the wall. Oh, wow, this is jungler against top laner.
This is jungler against top laner. They are the same level, and this Rek'Sai just slapped the croc around.
Almost same CS as well. This Rek'Sai is very far ahead. I want to see goal totals. She's 20 CS ahead of the enemy jungler, 303, 2 levels. The lead is 2 levels as well. So let's look at this again. DK just doing trundle things.
Yeah, this was a little bit of just an overextension by Shine.
Now look at Xin. Look at Xin. He flashed this over the wall here. It's such a nice move.
I love Xin. I think Zin's a fantastic player.
Yeah. I agree. You almost never see people just flash using their real flash over the wall there. Most of the times, either hex flash or just some mobility ability. But of course, Thresh does not have that one, so he had flash over. And now OPG, even though they're 3k down, they still get the first of the Cloud Dragons, which means Percent a little bit behind the tempo on the bot side.
For now, at least, it is just a Cloud Drake. Not the biggest deal in the world. The early Drakes were split, so it's not like anyone is threatening Soul Point. But it is a very good fight back here from Overpower Gaming. They aren't lying down and dying, which is good to see. That's the worst. The worst thing to see is a team loses the early game and then doesn't know what to do. I don't think that's what's happening. They know how to keep this one going.
Yeah, I want to quickly touch on the Cloud Dragon here, because I think Cloud Dragon is actually fantastic, or Cloud Soul is fantastic for OPG. Look at all the champs. We have DK on Trundle. He wants to run at you. So pressing R and getting 50% movement speed buff is fantastic for him to run into the backline. Then we have Camken, also a champ that struggles late game to close the gap. Press R, it's just a mobility tool at that point.
Yep.
Perfect. PhD, the snake can't build boots, so extra mobility is nice for her as well. So I think it's almost. I never want to say the best, because of course the stud dragons always look better, but I think this is one of the best team compositions to get Cloud Soul with. Very much appreciated on their side.
Yeah, all they need is an Olaf in the bot lane. Then they'd be the perfect team for it. That
Olaf
said, we are true. We are a long way away from that Cloud Soul. We are at least about 10 minutes, so we'll have to see if they pick it up. And we do have a pause, as it looks like Shine has DC'd. Lovely thing about the spectator delay is I do believe it means they recover from this kind of thing a little bit faster. We'll have to just fix up our switch because it was you and Vinnie. So just give me one moment. I do apologize, everyone. This on. But yeah, we can keep talking. I love the new design. I think it's very slick. I really like it.
Cool. Yeah, I like it too. The dark red design was not bad either.
Just give me one moment. We are just going to have to restart our Discord call. So I'll be 2 seconds.
Okay.
I'm going to recall you. But I'm still here, guys. So while I wait for Yulwei to pick up, this has been a really interesting early game. This has been super impressive from Yulwei, or Jawei, however we're going to say it. As we do have Yulwei back. Welcome back.
Hello.
We'll have to fix up a little bit of the cropping. We were trying to be cheeky with having Vinnie on. Now we have Big Way a little bit, but it's okay. Big Way is
Big
fine,
Way.
right? So, what do you think of this early game so far?
I have to say I'm super impressed with the percent so far. Very cool, a very smooth plays. Sometimes some challenger teams come up with very aggressive game plans, right? But most of the time, you can still see it's challenger, and they go for aggressive dice, but then one dies to the turret, and another one dies on the way there, and it gets very messy. And maybe they get off to a good lead, but it's not so great. But this game, look at all the plays. Very well planned, very well played out. Perfect timing on the top lane gank with the Rise ult. I'm pretty impressed, I have to say. This team is surprising me so far.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's been very, very good. I hope they keep it up. That would be the ideal, of course. Yeah, there's not much else to say, just in that I hope it's still works. And I don't see why it wouldn't.
On some of the player matchups, I think jungle so far has been the biggest discrepancy, where DK has made almost nothing happen. I guess he initiated the bot lane fight, so a few assists now, and he has 3 assists now. But on the other side, 2 level lead and 303, 2 completed items. Look at the items. He's actually stronger than anyone else on the map. Maybe PhD can fight him, but this Rek'Sai might actually scale a little bit better into late game than Rek'Sai usually does, because Rek'Sai from super far ahead gets to be a little bit of an assassin and just tries to solo out one of the carries. So
do we see the Infinity Edge?
That would be next level. I don't think so, sadly, but maybe a little bit of a palette. Maybe an Umbro Glaive.
I mean, why not? If you've got the spare gold, there's no reason not to. And this has been very, very impressive from Jase. With that 100% kill participation, that honestly, a jungler having 100% kill participation in a VCS promotion match is super impressive, because it means nothing's gone wrong in the lanes. There hasn't been these solo kills going forward, which means that's good. Like, okay, yes, if you're a percent fan, you're never going to complain if Glory or Tato solo killed their opponent. But the fact that everything's just going to a plan is good to see. I'm really happy with percent. I can't overemphasize.
Yeah. They haven't conceded any solo kills in lanes, even though they play against the quote-unquote pro team here, right? So no solo kill in bot lane, no solo kill in mid lane, top lane. It's not really the matchup for a solo kill, but yeah, it's very good to see. And do you want me to tell my inner LS?
Oh, go ahead.
This Aatrox should have built Trinity, because there's another Black Cleaver in his team. So it's actually better to go Tritrox.
Yeah, I think Tritrox would have been great. I really like Trinity Aatrox. It's not necessarily like what LS sometimes says, where it's just strictly better or anything like that. I just think it's cool.
It's very.
I think it's very cool. I think it's very cool when champions can have 2 very distinct modes. And I think, unlike something like Trinity Force Set, it doesn't change how you play Set, right? You still do the same things, you just do more damage with Triforce. Aatrox, it kind of changes how you play, because you're weaving the dashes a lot more.
I think we've only seen like 2 or 3 Trinity Aatroxes in this season across the globe, so it's really not the preferred item. No. I can understand the autopilot a little bit, but in this game, I think if you have 2 bruises that kind of go at the same time as well, with Rek'Sai and Aatrox, you might want to think a little bit more about your itemization.
Well, why not Triforce Rek'Sai?
Yeah.
I like how you said, yeah, like I was serious. Is that your default? Oh, Everyday said something stupid. I'll just say, yeah.
Honestly, I can't see it. Why not?
Sure, why not? Is that something you'll be bringing to solo queue?
I think if you want to go the Black Cleaver on Aatrox, why not go with lethality on your Rek'Sai?
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like double Black Cleaver, especially if both champs do the same. So, just a little bit of rambling there.
Yeah, sure, no, I completely agree. But we do have a fight brewing, and the hook has landed to kick us off, and everyone goes golden. Bard has absolutely ripped this fight up, and it's a 1-for-1 so far. But who will come out on top? That's PHT very, very low. Jase does go down, but it's a double kill for the Bard. Lisa is absolutely popping off. And there is the realm walk forward, and Vit flashes away. 4 members of Overpowered Gaming are dead to 2 of Percent. That should be the Dragon if they want it, but it looks like they want to go to Baron. I think Shine must have white next.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, he's very low on ammo. Yeah,
there we go. There it is. Boros is in. They can take this very easily. Very smart by Vit. This is smart by Vit. Go take the Dragon.
Yep. Good to see. They also teleport the Renekton in, so at least they move closer to their soul. But there's
there's a TP here. This is being contested. Tardo's arrived to zone them off. This is so good by Percent. They are getting absolutely everything.
There's another TP.
They're making out like absolute robber barons. Glory coming zooming in that teleport speed buff that has only recently come into back into the game, looking really, really strong. 1200 health on the Dragon. They don't have a jungler. It's going to get smited away. That's unfortunate, but can they get a fight off the back of it? Tardo going low, but he goes golden with the help of Lisa, trying to limp away, and he doesn't. He does go down, but can they get PHT on the backswing? Very good ult, but Glory with the big spell crit will take him down. Yase is charging forward. He wants more, but he does decide to rein himself in. It's a 1-for-1, but the Dragon went to Optimus Gaming. Overpower Gaming. God damn, I'm going to make that mistake all split if they get in.
Look at this fight again, though. Holy moly. That was a Bard ult if I've ever seen one. And now look at Lisa, how he carries this one. So first he lands a 4-man Bard ult, steps forward to take the grab, and then flashes over to just finish off the kill. 2 kills over to the Bard already. Also, nice movement from Shine, I have to say, to step in front of his Rise. So even if the grab comes through, which it did, of course, in the end, the grab will not cancel the teleport for Glory. So even though he was stunned, he still TP'd into the enemy team, and they got the Baron. Now it's a big gold lead. Even though they face the 3 dragons on the other side, they don't really care too much. Right now, item advantages are big, especially in bot lane, and of course jungle as well. So this should be a pretty easy game to close out for Tristana.
Absolutely. And I'm going to steal a point you often make. This Percent lineup has come in with the killer instinct. Decisive calls. They aren't screwing around. They got the team fight win. We assumed they'd just go to Dragon, which was the safe call. But they said, no, our Aphelios is about to have the red-white combo. We go to Baron right now. They didn't screw around. Yeah. They went straight to it. Then they said, we can contest this Dragon. Okay, that didn't go so well, but the call was fast and it was decisive, which I'm happy to say.
And I mean, they didn't really give up anything with the Baron contest, Dragon contest, right? They got another kill. Okay, they gave up 1 for the Cassiopeia. They were very close to actually securing this Dragon as well. So I like this quick thinking as well to try and contest the Dragon. In the end, not quite successful, but yeah, back to the Baron play. I love aggressive Barons. Where for the EU crowd, or the EU crew from our server, shout out. We always go for aggressive Barons and throw all the games because I like to go for aggressive Barons. But yeah, I think aggressive Barons have a lot of potential, especially if you're on top of your game as Aphelios and know what weapon combos are going to be there. Just go for them all the time.
Absolutely.
So, very, very good to see the decisiveness. 8k gold lead at 25 minutes. This is pretty much a stomp, honestly.
Yeah, this is a massive stomp, honestly. The Aphelios has got to 2 items. Is going for the... did we agree that it was the Eastern build? Yeah. Is the terminology we used, where you go the Infinity Edge rather than the Essence Reaver. I really like it. I think it's just the superior build at this point. Is even with the Tristana in terms of items, but it's an Aphelios.
Yeah, and the Tristana items don't really scale too well with each other. Tristana went for Blade in the bot lane, which is very surprising to me. I didn't have the time to catch or to talk about this, but Blade is much more of a solo lane item for Tristana, because in bot lane, if you don't get the early advantage and don't get the early kills, you should just go for crit scaling. Instead, now she didn't get the early advantage, is actually behind in gold, and has a build that does not scale off, the items don't scale off each other. So she needs one more crit item to actually have the same crit multiplier as the enemy. And that is not a good start. So yeah, not in love with this Tristana build. I think if you go bot lane and go even, you kind of have to go for Storm Raid IE. So
yeah, I agree with that. The bot lane Tristana in general feels very strange to me. Misfortune was available, as I don't think she was banned. That's more the traditional giveaway Aphelios and you take Misfortune and something else that's strong. It's definitely a bit strange, but regardless, it's not so much been the picks that have been shining, particularly not the bot lane picks. It's just been level of play. This is actually very good, much better than I expected out of this team.
Absolutely, especially Percent. Super impressive stuff. But also to come back to the one last point about the Tristana, I think the Tristana Thresh lane with Xin and Vid as the bot lane is not a bad plan. I think you have the superior bot lane. You should expect to have the superior bot lane. They actually played well in VCS as well. Sure. But why didn't you hard commit to the bot lane focus? Why didn't you put your jungler down and try to accelerate Vid and go double super aggressive? If you get 2-3 kills on this Percent bot lane, they can't even enter lane anymore. It's super dangerous to play. Instead, Xin did the opposite and left Vid on an island. I really don't understand this game plan. They didn't make anything happen bot side. Top side was completely in Percent Gaming's control. So just a little bit of confusion maybe about the game plan and about the win conditions on OPG's side. And
I think one of the other big things to point out, and maybe this is repeating myself a bit, but I kind of want to focus on both sides, but it's the jungle matchup. Jase has been super impressive. Earlier on, he did have 100% kill participation. I don't think he does anymore, but that's fine. It's 28 minutes in. While DK hasn't done much. This Trundle has been a little bit absent. He got that. He started that one play in the bot lane onto Shine. That was really it.
Yeah, and even more so that Jase is actually playing the risky jungler, right? The Trundle has risen to priority, and a lot of people have started picking farming junglers into Trundle. Most likely the Graves, who also got banned in the first rotation here. So everyone knows how strong Trundle is. But Jase did not go for a Trundle counter. Instead, he went for, okay, I want to go for my aggressive ganker. I know Trundle will outscale me big time, and it's way easier to play Trundle. I still want to go with Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai needs to do stuff in the early game, and that she did.
Absolutely. As here is the Baron going low, but they're going to go for the engage. Tado gets a big double knock up. They turn around onto Kemken, but he gets over the wall and Lantern's back to his team. OPG has managed to disengage this fight successfully, but they're just going to start the Baron back up. You disengaged once, but now your teleport's gone. Can you do it again? As it's going down very quickly. He's using the Gravitum at the moment. Annoying.
Yeah, they can't really get past this turret. So.
And they're gonna... Oh, Glory flashing forward. They want to try and get onto DK. It hasn't gone super well at the start. PHT doing a lot of damage, but look at all the damage from Glory on the side. Absolutely ripping people up. This is very, very bad for both teams, honestly. There's a lot of very low health bars, but they're lower on the side of OPG. The exhaust was very smart there. Jase went gold, and he lives. There's the shutdown for Aphelios, and only 2 members of OPG are left alive, and I don't think Percent wants to leave them alive. And Lisa with the stun to make sure they find both. He goes down, and oh no, Kemken could turn this around, and he has. Aphelios arriving a little bit late, will get the kill onto DK. No, he won't. A little bit of a messy close to the fight, but they'll get the inhib, and they're going for the game. Badly timed there. That wasn't great. As the inhib has been taken, they could win the game here. As they do have the Aphelios. True. Yeah, badly timed realm warp.
Really. A little bit overzealous there. And they shouldn't have gone for the chase, actually. They should have just full committed 4 men into top or mid lane to close out the game. I think mid lane was actually the inside track there, so a little bit weird. And now they could lose Baron if they die here.
Potentially, but they're going to go for this fight. PHT coming in on the side, doing a lot. DK gets chunked immediately. Glory is the only one here that can really do damage, and he goes down. A little bit of a throw potentially by Percent as they lose their 2 big carries. This should be a free Baron for OPG.
Yep. Now, Darce is alive, but he doesn't have flash. He has smite available. He can try to tunnel in, and a very nice first ward for Lisa.
There is a Bard ult as well.
Okay, they don't clear the ward, so almost full vision, of course, not on the actual HP bar. So now it comes to calculation. It seems like, yeah, they don't even want to go for the steal. Of course, Darce is just in the mid lane pushing in. So free Baron over to OPG, a little bit of an overextension for Percent, and OPG closes the gap to only 4k, which means there's a glimmer of hope for them.
Absolutely, there is. This is a very close and fun game so far.
That Tristana is...
I was about to ask you about that one. What do you think about swords and gun?
What is going on? That is a very strange Tristana build. Only 2 crit items. I guess she has attack speed from boots and blade.
And Q.
But usually you want to go... You usually want to go for the Storm Razor as well. To slow the first enemy on you have to remember Tristana actually has more range now than Caitlyn, and Storm Razor on Caitlyn is ridiculously strong. So don't really understand why you go another
Storm Razor is kind of an early game item though. It's for the reason Caitlyn loves it. I might come back to it. Is DK is a little bit caught out, pops the frozen domain, so he's okay. Caitlyn builds it for ridiculous trading early. You shoot someone once, get a big slow, and you can headshot. It's true. I don't think Tristana likes it for the same reasons Kate does. Zin a bit caught out here, and this is very smart here.
Just abandoned him.
Yeah, he's just dead, as Glory was very smart, pushed in the mid lane to buy his team the space to get the Drake. He's now going to go for the Realm Warp out, and he's outie.
Yep, he just bought his team so much time to deny most of the Baron buff as well. And now it's the 7th Dragon game, so the next one will give soul to either team. So Percent able to close the gap, and even though Cloud Dragon and Cloud Soul might not be as nice for them, it's always good to remove these soul, and also quite good for them to actually remove the possibility of the Elder Dragon, because right now they are still pretty far ahead. So risking Elder Dragon is always, yeah, you don't really want to do that. So,
well, it's a risk.
Yeah,
it's in the name. So absolutely, as this Baron buff should be wearing off very soon, we will return to the state of just looking at gold leads. Of course, a 5k gold lead 33 minutes into the game isn't that big. It's not great, but it's really not game-breaking.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the game has returned to a more even state, and there are chances for either team to win this game for sure. It's not on a nice edge. It wouldn't go that far. I think Percent is still pretty firmly in control. They have strong scaling on their side. Their Phaphelius are reaching his 200 years power spike, so that is a very strong champion over there. Very hard to deal with for OPG's comp. So yeah, I give them like a 60-65% chance of winning this game, but it's better than the 80% for the other side. It's better than the 80% they were looking at 10 minutes ago. So.
Absolutely. So OPG definitely fighting back here. Did not roll over despite the big deficit, and thanks to a little bit of fumbling by Percent, they have been able to snatch at least a hand onto the ball, where previously it was already being run into their tri-zone.
One very interesting thing to track here is the lifesteal now in the next team fight. Look at the lifesteal.
There's a Realm Warp being used. Zin takes a lot of damage, is healed by the Redemption, but he could just instantly die. He's actually still alive as he finally goes down to Lisa, but now there's a full team fight. Tato goes down in trade, but look at all the damage coming out onto Kemken. Can they find a way into this one? This is all on Shine and Glory. Glory's chunked out. Oh, so much damage from that bomb out of the Tristana. This is going very, very badly. Oh, Glory with the big crit. Shine doing so much, trying to get those wiggly arms. Glory gets a double kill. Kemken has arrived, trying to get everything done. Oh, nearly. But it's a quadra kill for Glory, and game 1 for Percent.
Aphelios just turned into a sustain tank much better than Aatrox ever wished to be. I think he healed himself for like 3-4 times his HP in that fight. And I wanted to make this point because I saw Bard finishing off his Athenes and the lifesteal build on Aphelios as well, and there was only one item for grievous wounds, and that was only on Renekton, so very hard to apply to Aphelios. We definitely saw the action there in the last team fight.
That we did.
Ridiculous amounts of lifesteals. That red gun in the late game is still very potent. Of course, got nerfed heavily in the early game, but late game it's still 20% or something lifesteal.
Yeah.
Added to the 20% of Bloodthirster, and then probably Bloodline as well, so you go up to something like 60% lifesteal.
It's a bit broken. It's pretty intense, for sure.
He just went into the front line and tanked everyone. Ridiculous.
Absolutely.
Aphelios things.
Just Aphelios things, for sure. But that is game 1 in the books. OPG has not come in looking quite as hot as perhaps some longtime VCS fans wanted them to. But we'll find out soon if they can heat up, if they can ignite the jets and come into game 2 firing, or will Percent be happy chappies? We'll find out soon. Don't go anywhere, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We always love having you here. We'll be back very, very soon.
See you soon.
Welcome back, everybody, for Game 2 of Overpower Esports, taking on Percent. Percent coming in looking absolutely fire, 100% effort out of them for sure, and they certainly weren't overpowered. So what do we think going into Game 2? How does the new boys raised by Optimus come back into this one?
That's a good question. I think jungle needs to be more proactive in terms of matchup. It looks like Percent wants to go for the old style of jungle, or the start of the season style for jungling. Very gank heavy, early game jungler like Rek'Sai to snowball your lanes and then rely on your lanes to carry you, while the other team, Overpower, came in with the typical 10.9 draft, which is, of course, Trundle, very high priority. So I think this might have to change. DK, of course, is someone who hasn't really impressed us too much in the season either, so we need to see him step up. It's definitely an improvement from Hope, but yeah, maybe he needs to step up a little bit more. Lanes were fine. I think the game plan needs to be followed a little bit more strictly. If they want to play through bot lane, then play through bot lane. Don't pick playing through bot lane, but then play through nowhere. Yeah, that wasn't my favorite execution from Overpower. So I think they just need to reset mentally. They had to talk about what went wrong in the first game and how to better contain Jase and Glory as well. Glory with a lot of Rise roams early on. So yeah, those two are the most important players to contain.
And Glory is who our friend Mr. Vinnie pointed out as the big name from Percent, and he absolutely showed up. That said, it wasn't a 1v9. It was very much his team.
And also Shine in the late game.
I think Tado was fine as well. He had a few moments, but I think it was just good. But Glory was definitely the standout. The Bard has copped a ban, as has Graves. Interesting.
I want to see a little bit more 10-9 spice. I want to see Cho'Gath. I want to see Wukong finally cast a Wukong game. That would be
you missed it in Series 1. Yeah. Had Froggy playing that one up in the top lane. Is Varus as the highest priority champion here, 4%. They locked that one squarely away. Like a potential Blitzcrank preemptive Tahm Kench counter?
Yeah, good call.
Okay.
Thresh also. Thresh Aphelios probably the first rotation here. They don't really need to pick Aphelios. They could go Trundle again, or blind mid. But why would you go blind mid? I think
securing a jungle with this pick
or Aphelios make the most sense here.
Okay, I'm not getting baited by these hovers. He's just hovered Nunu, Karthus, and a Mumu, and he locks the Olaf.
Okay,
much less fun, but a good pick nonetheless.
DK Olaf has been, we have seen DK on Olaf before. I think he has been one of his better champs. So, yeah, makes a lot of sense. Good into Varus as well. Can deny Varus's ult, of course. And the E is a little bit annoying for Olaf to deal with, but can just run over that field and ignore the heal reduction as well. Varus, of course, some people really like this champ because he has the two modes where he goes either lethality or attack speed. I think we have seen more lethality, and I think it's a super strong build. where even in the late game, we usually say, okay, the lethality falls off in the late game, he actually deals insane amounts of damage. WQ can chunk people for half HP or even more in the late game. So I think even in the late game, if you set up the comp correctly, give him a little bit of protection. I like him with Azir, maybe a Zoe. Zoe Varus is super deadly as well. Then yeah.
So one other matchup to comment on here is the Jarvan has been picked to counter the Olaf. We often talk about the Jarvan Rage Cage. In this matchup, it's more about the Caged Rage, as Olaf will be put in the cage, and you can ignore all the CC you want. You can't ignore walls. So it is a very natural counter, but the Karma as well picked up. Looks like they, so far, because we haven't seen the end of the picks, Varus has a fair bit of priority. How would you like to see Percent round the comp out?
Yeah, it all depends on the mode Varus wants to take. I think so far it looks more like attack speed Varus to me, especially if Karma ends up in a solo lane, where she's more the facilitator, of course, shielding and providing more movement speed and a little bit of extra attack speed through the Ardent Sense as well. So I'd expect this Varus to go attack speed. If they want to have a Karma in the bot lane, to have a super heavy poke comp, then I'd say something like Zoe would fit well. Jace is banned. I think the Jace ban is actually super smart. They could have gone Zoe Jace for the full-on poke composition and then just cage the Olaf, so there's no engage on the other side. So really in love with this Jace ban. So I think now Percent can go back to a more standard front-to-back team fighting with Varus as the main carry on attack speed. But we have to see. It's
absolutely
not decided. Yeah, especially now with the On locked in as well. I think Varus does not want to play lethality into On. So
no, that would be very silly going lethality into someone like Ornn who can end up with 500 plus armor. Would not be doing a lot of damage. So, on the side of OPG then, what would you like to see their last pick? It is presumably a mid laner. Ornn could technically go mid, but I doubt it. What would you like to see PHT pick up?
I think Azir would be a very good champ here. Protect Aphelios, offer more backline damage. They have super strong front to back. They could go something like Galio to have a dive buddy for Olaf. So Olaf runs in, Galio follows up, and Aphelios provides a little bit of extra firepower from behind. I'd say, yeah.
They're not getting the Azir, though. Okay.
Yeah, I'd say either Control Mage or something like Galio, where early roams can be enabled and follow the Olaf in team fights and rely on Aphelios for the damage, which we all know Aphelios can bring the damage. So, yeah, I'd like to see something like that. Instead, we're going more risky. Okay,
a Kassadin. Interesting stuff.
So the Kassadin is more to offer a different win condition. Let's look at the enemy team. Kassadin.
It's a bit of a dive buddy as well. Kassadin wants to be going in pretty hard.
Kassadin into Varus is not super easy to play, so the Kassadin is okay. I personally am a big fan of the champ. I think I would have liked to see a little bit more of an easier to execute composition with just something like Galio or even Syndra. Syndra is probably banned, yeah. So let's say Orianna. Orianna can control space against Varus very well, so Varus can never step forward. I think a Control Mage would have been a little bit easier to execute, but this one is much more PHT style. Carry or bust.
Yep.
Basically, yeah.
Very PHT.
Go big or go home. This is something PHT likes to do a lot, and more often than not, he ends up going home.
They hit the relegation, so they went home a lot. But let's see if they can go big to fight back in this one. The one thing the Kassadin does do is it makes the scaling discussion very easy. Kassadin in the late game can just go to a side lane and do whatever he wants.
Yeah, there's no champ that can really deal with him. Azir side lane is not great into Kassadin. Aatrox
can probably catch
maybe hold weight for a while, but even that will be harder, especially if Kassadin hits like 3 items and level 16. Aatrox just can't trade back. So if Kassadin just goes in, trades for half HP, goes out again, waits a second, maybe Aatrox gets like 100 HP back, then Kassadin jumps in again. Aatrox just doesn't have the mobility to follow up and really force Kassadin to commit to fight. So Kassadin can just go jump in, jump out, wait for his opportunity to strike, and then kill Aatrox and kill the Druids. So
That
yeah, side lane,
said-
I think.
That said, I think Azir will do more damage in the late game team fights. If it's a 5v5,
Yeah.
Kassadin is obviously still fearsome, but so is Azir. He does a lot of sustained damage, while Kassadin is much more about weaving his way in and out.
Absolutely. So yeah, Kassadin in team fights, it's still a super strong team fighter, right? It's very hard to deal with. You have to allocate a lot of resources to actually stopping the Kassadin, especially if he has something like a 1 second cooldown. 1.2 is, of course, the original cooldown on ult in the late game. But if you get a few Cloud Drakes, it can go down to 0.9. Then it gets really spicy. So yeah, Kassadin is hard to stop, but I think Varus and Azir are actually quite well equipped to deal with him. Azir has can reposition with E, has a little bit of a shield to and not die immediately to an attack. Varus, of course, can build Wits End even, so go a little bit more into MR, not die immediately to burst, and then heal back up with the help of Karma as well. So it's not super easy for Kassadin to delete the enemy carries. It's not something like MF and Orianna or something, where Kassadin really has a very, very easy time jumping behind the enemy backline, just obliterating them. So it's not the easiest team fight setup, but should still be able to make it work, especially if Vid gets off to a good start, because then you can't actually allocate all your resources to peeling the Kassadin if from behind 200 years shoot at you with insane amounts of damage as well.
Yeah.
So,
that's the big thing, is that not only will the Kassadin be a massive threat on his own, they also have an Aphelios who is going to have upgraded items from an Ornn. It's a very strong team comp from OPG. So where is the focus going to be? Let's talk about OPG, as they are the losers of the first game. So they are worth discussing. They want to win this one to bring it back to just being a best of 3. Where do they want to play through? Because team fighting as Aphelios into this percent comp is hard.
yeah, it's Kassadin as well, as we touched on already. So honestly, they don't really have the greatest setups to get early kills. Kassadin, of course, pre-level 6 does not offer a lot of gank assistance. Ornn, I guess you can go for an early kill on Aatrox. It wouldn't actually be the worst option. I expect Olaf to full clear from bot to top, and then maybe pay Wizard to the top lane, level 4 against level 3 if he's quick enough to get an early level lead on Aatrox. I think that's probably the easiest way to execute an early kill. But other than that, it's more farming time. I think they just want to scale in lanes and let Olaf power farm, and basically have a third solo laner through Olaf power farming his jungle. So you have a very strong Olaf, and try to not die in lanes, because neither lane really has the greatest setup for early kills. Glory, of course, can just shift away. Shine and Lisa, you can try to gank them, but they have a lot of damage. They have a lot of CC. So especially if you come in level 6, it's super dangerous. They can just turn around, fire a chain of corruption, and kill 1 or 2 members even. So it's not easy to gank the spot lane. I think the easiest, as I said before, is probably to get a kill or 2 on Tado.
Also, I'm just going to apologise in advance. There's been a storm all day here, and it's just gotten considerably worse. So if you do hear anything, it's just the fact that the world is ending. It's okay. I'm just going to apologise for any potential background noise. It's raining very hard outside my house. So if you do, that's all. Back to the game.
Look at the left side. What can you see every day? What can you see?
On the
Please
left
tell me.
side. Oh, it's Lethality
Yes.
Varus. Oh no, Shine. What have you done? Baby, no! That's
It's
such a
triple
huge
comet.
mistake.
It's triple comet. It's so fun. I think I've never seen triple comet bot side. That is so weird.
Oh, the Lethality Varus, it just seems so silly. I don't understand why you go Lethality Varus. I think he needs the consistent DPS. He's against an Ornn.
It's quite surprising to me as well. Lethality Varus seems to be the stronger build right now. Almost every Varus in the world goes for lethality. So maybe it's a little bit of autopilot coming in. they basically rely on Azir to bring the AP the consistent DPS, I wanted to say. And honestly, Lethality Virus can bring quite a lot of DPS if you look at his actual damage numbers in the first second, and then like just
that's not quite how that
works.
Actually, it's exactly how it works.
He still makes a lot of damage. Yeah, it is. But yeah, I think against the squishies, I might actually be the better build into Kassadin.
Ooh, DK's been found in the jungle. He is an Olaf, so he's very, very low against a Jarvan, and Glory was coming in to help. Very, very well done there by Jase to get the first blood. I think I'm a few seconds ahead of you, so you might want to restart your stream.
Yes.
That is first blood. Jase with the awareness to know that Olaf goes very low and Jarvan hits very hard with that passive. So he's going to get an easy kill. Refresh his buffs. He's loving it.
Also very, very, very funny to see Olaf fight against J4. And J4 is just standing there.
Whack. Whack.
Olaf tries his damnedest to do everything he can. He's smited the buff to get extra HP back. He used the W to get more sustained. J4 just standing there. Auto attack, passive.
No, you can't invade me at my red buff. Haha, Lance go brr.
Exactly that. So J4 is actually ahead in levels, ahead in CS, and has a kill over Olaf. So perfect start for Percent as well. And Jase continuing to impress us and looking like the better jungler today.
Absolutely. He's been very, very good. DK, not a huge amount he could do there. That's kind of just the reality of playing Olaf. You go low in your jungle, it's the correct decision.
You should always ward the top side of your red buff, though. If you come from down there, it's a little bit of a mistake. I think he did go for the early sweeper play. So it's something we see a lot in pro play, of course, where you place your first ward very early on in the game, port back, and then go for the sweeper immediately. So you get the sweeper for the first gank. Can cost you, though, as we just saw. He didn't have the ward for the red buff, so can backfire a little bit. And now he's behind against the ganking and scaling jungler on the other side.
Absolutely. That game plan of just don't do anything for 20 minutes, let everyone power farm, is a bit harder when your jungler has died early. Just gives Jase so much control over both sides of the river. We see he's already got the scuttles, and he's, oh no, they're going for him again. DK, he does not know. He does know, I should say. He's not DNK. He does know what's coming at him, and it's a big old tent in the middle of every part of his jungle. As he's gone down again, and the kill as well went over to Shine. That's really bad.
It's very well executed from Percent, I have to say. Once again, want to praise them here, because they realize enemy team has Kassadin. He's permanently chuffed under turret. He can't follow. They also have priority in bot lane, because of course they have the ranged support matchup. To be fair, Thresh is kind of a range champ as well, but still, you know what I mean, right? Yeah. So they have Perma, Shaff, and bot and mid lane, so just go for Perma and waits, and he doesn't have flash, so it's super easy for Jase to land EQ. Almost flawless. I really can't see anything wrong with Percent's game plan here, and jungle, once again, the first thing that breaks open this game.
Yeah, and this is a bit of a hit to DK's mental. It's not fun to have this happen to you, to get ganked in your own jungle twice by 6 minutes. This is one of those ones where you better be typing /mute all, or you might be getting banned. Because it's a tricky one for sure. But he has invaded to catch up a little bit. We'll get a couple of extra.
Look at the CS deficit though.
Yep, Jarvan versus Olaf.
Yeah, usually the other way around. If you look at the CS, and J4 has two kills, or two kill participations, I should say.
Ken wants to set up the kill, and this is Tardo. I don't think he's going anywhere. He's bounced up. They want to give this kill over to the Olaf, I imagine. He's doing his best, and Ken flashes. Don't think that was necessary at all. Tardo was trapped in the alcove.
So impatient.
That was incredibly impatient, but they do get the kill. So, okay, you used a flash to get a kill. Let's talk about it in those terms.
Fair enough.
Not terrible,
we
but
did-
that wasn't necessary.
Yeah, a little bit of a tilt play, honestly. You can see the tilt there. You go for the gank, it's a super easy kill, and you're like, oh, no, please don't have anything happen here. I don't want the enemy jungler to kill me here. So they just went for the flash, even though the enemy jungler was actually on your blue buff.
Yeah, which they knew about as well. So it definitely was just a little bit of an impatience play.
It was impatient, a little bit of a tilt play as well. But we saw the early top gank. I talked about the
Oh no, not again!
No time for that.
The caged rage.
Oh my
as there's a flash away from DK. He takes so much damage. Kemken is here though, so Yase needs to be a bit careful. As this is a top laner, it's an Ornn. He does a lot of damage, but he doesn't care as he's now got Tado coming in. This is a fight for the ages for this Krug.
Well, he didn't get the
No,
I guess he gets the red buff.
He got the consolation
so,
prize of a red buff. I think you take those.
Yeah, that's nice stuff as well. Also, taking away the flash from DK is not bad either.
Ooh, in the bot lane, we do have it engaged. The flash play was used, but it's Shine picking up the first kill. Vit charging forward. They want this. He'll get it, and this should be the easy kill for Mr. Aphelios as soon as that Q cooldown is back up. And there it is. He switches back to the flamethrower. Lisa flashing away and actually does escape. So it wasn't the double kill, but it's a 1-for-1.
And finally, we get some bot lane action. We wanted to see more bot lane for fights last game, but this time around we get it. Xin flashing in, trying to go for the flay into grab play. The Shine with a very good counter flash to not get grabbed by the grab. So very good immediate response from Percent, but then of course Aphelios doing Aphelios things, more DPS as we talked about because this virus is not going for a DPS build. So makes a lot of sense that he gets the counter kill. In the end, it's a one kill for either side in terms of the ADCs picking up the kills. So neither team too unhappy with the results.
However, there is a fairly big difference in terms of items now. As on the first recall, Shine went back and got the Umbral Glaive, while Vit just picked up boots. That's a lot of lethality, a lot of damage.
Honestly, though, in terms of combat power, I think they are quite close, because Umbral Glaive, of course, in terms of combat power, is the weakest of the 5 lethality items
5
we have in the game right now.
If you include Sanguine Blade.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think in terms of combat power, this is still fine, especially because he has boots, upgraded boots, and BS Sword. So, actually, a lot of AD and attack speed. So, this shouldn't be the biggest of item differences.
No, but it is still a good sign. As a teleport has come in here. Shine's going to be knocked up, throws out the Chains of Corruption. And oh my god, get down, Mr. President, from the minion to stop that grab. But it's still a kill over to Vit. It's gone well here for OPG. Well, we talked about we wanted them to actually play through the bot lane. I'd say they're doing it.
Yeah, and this is in time to go for the dragon as well. So even more of a price here. They give up a lot of platings in the top lane, and Kemken is actually not staying here. So dragon will not be super free, especially if J4 is able to ward this side of the map. So actually a little bit surprised by how they played out the back half of the play here. I think they could have just hard committed to dragon and then recall the Ornn.
And they have dropped a Rift Herald.
This dragon
as
is
well.
actually, this dragon will be hard to secure.
Oh wait, Yulwei, what's the Rift?
Oh, mountain.
Okay,
I think it's mountain.
All right, is the curse finally broken? Nope. Of course not. We're going to an Ocean Rift. The 0% prediction rate lives on.
And Percent Esports can be happy that I'm not part of their org, because they had to rename to 0% Esports.
If we ever need to decide something by a coin flip, I'm always going to let you call it, because I'll win every time, because you can't call a coin flip. But oh well, it is the Ocean Rift. The very, very powerful Ocean Soul is available.
So look at the gold lead, though. They actually gave us so much gold here. They conceded 3 platings in the top lane, and I think 2 or 3 in the mid lane as well. So they gave up a lot of immediate standing gold for just 1 kill and 1 dragon that were super delayed. So yeah, I'm not very happy with how they played out this whole sequence of events. think they should have just hard committed to Dragon after the gank immediately and then poured on back into the top, or let him recall and go back into the top lane. This was, yeah, a little bit, maybe just called the play the wrong way, and now have to pay with 1k gold deficit.
That they do. It's not the biggest deficit in the world. Considering how poorly the early game went, they've actually bounced back fairly well. DK is caught up in farm. He's one camp behind, which is negligible, despite the early game woes. And the lanes haven't snowballed out of control. It is really just the bot lane that has a bit of a CS lead in favor of percent.
Look at this map movement, though. This is very
interesting.
Very nice.
I like this.
They've now called their AD carry, so the big lethality carry, into the mid lane. So Kassadin will have a very hard time dealing with that. And there's only one in like 10% of the plating remaining. So this should be very easy push. Yeah, this should be a very easy push for first turret. And Aatrox can deal with Aphelios every day of the week, and Azir has no problem fighting into Orange, so very smart lane assignments. Once again, we see so many cool little adaptations and very good macro understanding from Personal Esports.
Absolutely, this is impressive so far. They just need to keep it up. Of course, we were talking about how there becomes a point in this game where you have to look at the scaling for OPG as very, very scary. Trying to siege up this mid lane. The wave clear is good. That poke hits so hard.
Yeah. The lethality virus, of course, goes for corrupting potion every game, so you get a little bit of extra poke with the blue flames coming out of the enemy.
This is first tower.
Yep. So made it work. Very nice swap. I really have to commend them on their very good macro sense, and now up to 2k gold lead at 40 minutes.
For sure, as this is very good. It's not often that the first tower is the mid lane unless it's on the back of a big team fight. But this was just on the back of macro movement. Very intelligent
just
macro
super
movement,
smart
as you said.
adaptation.
Yeah. And getting the first tower gold onto your bot lane, as well as opening the mid lane up, is great for percent. It makes rotations easier. It makes going to the neutral objectives easier. I'm really impressed so far, but they have not nailed the coffin shut. They haven't even really lined up the hammer, as OPG is definitely still in this game.
So what this does to the Kassadin, though, is very, very annoying for Kassadin, because Kassadin wants to stay in mid lane a little bit longer. He wants to be able to move towards blue buff. He wants to be able to get to the dragon fights, maybe get 1-2 kills early on. Now he has to go to a side lane because he alone can't defend mid lane. So they have to put the ADC and support in the mid lane to not get pushed in and lose a map prio all the time. So now Kassadin already has to move to side lane, and right now he's not stronger than Glory. I'd say Glory wins 1-on-1s in the side lane right now in terms of item. If you look at the items, so this is all stems from the super smart swap from percent, and will now force PHT into like 5-6 minutes where he's very unhappy with the lane state.
Absolutely, and it is the second Rift Herald going over to percent as well. Another neutral objective for them could be used. They can really drop it anywhere to try and get a little bit of priority so that they can go towards the dragon, which is just about to spawn in 5 seconds.
And this is
they're already there.
This is all still the snowball from the mid turret.
Yep.
OPG was there first. They started the objective, but they couldn't commit because mid lane would have been in danger of getting pushed too far into their territory. So they had to move some resources back to the mid lane to actually defend, and now have to give up both of the side objectives. Topside river, just straight up into the bot side river as well, and percent gets everything. They are having their cake and eating it too, all from just setting up the plates very well.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. They are looking like absolute robber barons at the moment, coming out with a very full sack as they push now in the bot lane. They don't want to stop. They still have the Rift Herald. They're not going to use it here. They might drop it to try and push the inner, but I don't think they will. And there we go, getting out. This is very impressive out of percent.
Yeah, absolutely. And OPG is stunned. They have no idea how to respond to this. They just gave up so many objectives in a row, almost down 3k gold, and they're still the Rift Herald, as you rightfully pointed out as well. So this will probably get dropped topside, and then Kassadin really can't deal with Rifthold. So yeah, the ping comes down. So this should be the third outer turret attempted soon. Right now, J4, of course, is still in his bot side jungle. Has a little bit of time to clear out all his camps and keep even or even ahead in terms of levels. So there's no rush. They still have 3 minutes till Baron spawns, so no need for them to go to overcommit to plays on the top side.
Absolutely, and now they've gotten their resets, and in that moment of their reset, OPG couldn't fire back. That's their chance to sort of try and halt the snowball a little bit and get one of their own going, but they couldn't do it. The resets were very well timed by percent, the waves were in the right spot, and OPG, they're still farming, to be fair. That is one thing. That is still a Kassadin that hasn't died. It's just chilling in the side lane, getting items and getting experience. But it's 4 levels away from that level 16. That's a long way.
Playing with your mid lane turret down against the team that is mid lane turret still standing is like trying to race someone when he's on the inner circle and you're on the outer circle, and you have to run so many extra meters every single round. You just can't catch up to him, even if you're as fast, even if you have tempo advantage, to go back to League of Legends terms. It's just you fight from such a severe disadvantage that you just have to use your tempo to get even again. And then once the enemy team tries to push for tempo, it's so much easier for them to get in good state. And once again, they now get the turret in the top lane. They steal away the red buffs. Another objective bites the dust. It's not the biggest, of course, but look at this gold lead incrementally growing and so much control over 2%.
Absolutely, and percent isn't even giving them the opportunity to go for the flip team fight, right? Even if OPG wanted to, which they probably don't, they can't get a team fight.
Items.
Yeah, exactly. And this should be the Rift Herald being summoned up. I'm sure Jase will drop it, as they do have the Azir Tower behind them. Yep, there it is, summoned up. Shirley arrives. Khan decides to roost in Mayhem.
Varus and Azir, so he can't even go there to defend. So this is just another very free turret. At least Kassadin actually gets something in the side lane, so he gets a little bit of gold injection for himself. And they try to push for there was actually a lot of damage with another charge. A very good ult from Kankan to deny the full commit on the inhibitor. Also bit reset, so came back with full HP. Not quite enough time, but of course, once again, they've inside track for bot side, so they can just move there. It's really impressive.
This is very good. This is better than some of the teams in the actual VCS.
Absolutely.
And
we've seldomly seen this good map movement in our league. VCS is not famous for good macro, really not.
No, quite the opposite. But this is very, very good to see out of percent. And look, I want to keep stressing that OPG is not out of it yet. It's 4k gold, which is not great at 20 minutes, but they do have the ticking time bomb of Aphelios Kassadin. Question is, can percent keep adding more and more rope to that fuse? At the moment, one of the big things here is just the jungle gap. DK has been just absolutely outclassed here by Jase.
Yeah, I agree. So let's look at the map. 20 seconds to Ocean Dragon, and this one is already quite important for both teams. Of course, third Dragon for percent, and would be the second one for OPG, so stopping the Dragon Snowball on the other side. They have kind of good positioning right now. Not really have the greatest amounts of wards.
They're going to trade it for Baron. They've already started.
Ooh. Oh, wow. They have perfect control on the top side. They have no idea what's going on. Not even a ping coming down. And DK tries...
I think they have the Spidey senses tingling. They do, but I don't think they need to stop. There is a teleport on the Kassadin. This could be the big fight. 5k health on the Baron. It's going down quickly. Teleporting in
this
is...
could be the big throw.
Yeah, it absolutely could be. The Ornhorn has been
Can I
loaded.
see
Who's going to get the Baron?
no.
That's the really important. I'm glued to the Baron right now. It's smart. It's actually not even smart. It's taken away by the Varus. Percent has it, but can they get out? Vid has a lot of chakrams going. Tano gets a double kill out of absolutely nowhere, and he wants Zin as well. This is Percent re-engaging. They might win this fight out of absolutely nowhere. Tano's still alive. Vit, very, very low, but he's still alive. He's still throwing the chakrams. Kemken doing so much on the front, and 4 members of Percent have gone down. A scrappy team fight, and it's only one Baron buff that gets out. It just didn't work.
No. This was the first really big macro mistake, in my opinion. This is a play you don't have to go for, even though I am the person who likes the risky Baron plays. I don't think this was the position to go for one. You are so strong right now. You could actually just force team fights around Dragon, and this is the strongest Dragon Soul as well. So what do you really give up? The enemy team can't go for Baron. They really are not in the position to go for Baron. So you just need to invest a little bit of resource, a little bit of vision to secure this third Dragon. Instead, they made the call, we want to get this Baron to blow open the game. It's way riskier, and we see why. They play against Vid and against Kemken in very good positions to team fight. And let's look at Vid again. 5 chakrams here. Now he's at 7 or 8 or something.
Reasonable.
This is look
at a lot of damage.
Yes. Yeah, the chakrams just shredding through Tado. He actually heals up again, almost kills Vid, but then Vid is, of course, with a crit there to kill J4 as well. Flash auto attack from hand. Not actually sure if the flash was super worth it, because now he doesn't have it for the next team fight, and the team fight was already won. So just another kill to Ornn is not the biggest of prizes.
Denying a Baron buff is pretty good.
Yep.
Taking away
now
the
you also have to take into consideration all the on items slowly trickling in. So the game is much more even. I think Percent just missed a shot to close out the game or get way closer to the closing of the game,
I agree.
Securing the next dragon. They could have just had the 5 minutes timer on the game with the Ocean Soul. Instead, it's 2 for 2 in terms of dragons. Of course, they still 4k gold ahead, so still in a very good position. But it's much more dicey.
Yeah, I mean, I just think you made the point. They didn't need to do that, and it's just given OPG a massive way back into the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
They were at the position where they could have slammed the door. They hadn't done it yet, but they absolutely could have done it. And we have a fight down the bot side. Cassidy has been caught out. Very good read by Yase to go forward as the teleport's actually cancelled there up in the top side. Kemken was denied by Glory's ult. So it is a tower for Percent.
Yep.
They want to keep it going. They want to bounce back.
Teleport as well from Kemken, of course, is a nice thing to force. So he now has to group for the next objective, which will be Baron in a few minutes, and of course Dragon. I don't think OPG really wants to contest the next Ocean Dragon, honestly. They've bought themselves a little bit of time, so maybe try to go for a cheeky steal, but I don't think you want to full-on team fight. That being said, though, look at Vid's items. He has saved 75% crit chance, and this is a strong Aphelios, 150 years secured for him. So Bloodthirster next will be very hard to deal with.
It's a 4-0 Aphelios, which is very, very scary. Vit can absolutely put the whole world on his shoulders and pull them over the line. Question of if he can execute. It's not easy.
And actually, the whole Baron sequence and the whole Baron play is kind of contradictory to what Percent has so far done, where they've been going for the medium reward plays and low risk, medium reward, incrementally growing their advantages, getting turret after turret, very good macro swaps. Then suddenly they flip the switch and go for the high risk, well, kind of
high reward if
play.
You get the Baron and the team fight.
Yeah, you never get the team fight there. It's just a little bit too early in the game. So I think it's quite high reward, but you actually give up the chance of going for a very low risk, medium reward play, which would be the Dragon, which once again would incrementally grow your advantage. So they tried to put the nail in the coffin there with the Baron play, but instead it backfired, and now they have the nail in their own hands, and that's not very nice. Try to go somewhere there. I'm sorry.
No, I was laughing at something else. I was laughing at Discord. Side, I know you're watching the stream. What you just posted made me laugh, and it's derailed the cast. As Percent will get the Ocean Drake. Glory zooping his way out of there. Very well done. So they are on Ocean Soul Point, but it's going to come in at a point in time when Kassadin is probably strong enough to be Kassadin.
Yeah, he's level 15 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the ability to team fight is kind of gone now for Kassadin. It seems like this will be more. It's actually quite a hard game for Kassadin to play. He wants to get the kills on Glory and Shine. It's just so hard to fight into level 16 Kassadin with Banshee's Veil as well. So his primary targets are probably Varus and Karma in this setup. So not the ideal situation for a Kassadin player.
But Vit is absolutely terrifying. He now has the Molten Edge. How many years is that worth? Because it's 50 years per major item. So he's at 175 years. We could see 225 years of Aphelios. Terrifying.
Absolutely terrifying. I just something caught my eye, and I'm super confused by that. Look at Karma's items. She's still on the second part of her gold item at 28 minutes.
That's not a lot of gold.
Late. That is so late. Oh man.
That is incredibly late. Honestly, I've kind of forgotten this Karma exists. It hasn't done much.
yeah. I mean, they got early priority in lane, and that was super important to snowball the early jungle matchup. So we have to credit her a little bit. And then she's just 0-1 and 5, providing shields in team fights.
Yeah,
she's not there to carry. She's not the Bard of the last game. She's much more of the e-girl support this time around.
Yulwei.
I love those gems. So
is that a term we're bringing into our cast? Are we going to call people e-girl supports now? As they do clear out the vision around this Baron, this is the big objective. Something I'm surprised is not seeing a little bit more armor being built up by the tanks. Because one thing that has changed recently is Aphelios gets lethality, not armor pen now.
That's a very good point.
So armor's actually a lot better against him, and pauses are great against us. The hard counter.
We are. So, to be fair, there is a little bit of armor on the J4. It's just the Aatrox that hasn't built armor. And then you have to take into consideration that their stance is actually 30 armor as well. So a little bit of armor is there. They could go for a little bit more. I really like the Randoreams on Aatrox here, not only because it mitigates, of course, 20% of the damage, but also you can jump on top of Aphelios and then drop the slow. So it's super hard for him to play the team fights.
Yeah,
I'd really like to see this. I think it's just a super strong item into crit carries, especially if the enemy team composition relies on one crit carry to really
we are straight back in.
Carry down.
All good.
Oh, there we go. Just a very small little pause.
Yeah, that's the one good thing with the spectator delay, is often pauses are minimized because I think it eats into the delay.
Well, makes sense.
As a little bit of poke coming out of Shine.
That's not the target he wanted. Yeah, not the target he wanted to hit there.
No.
Of course. The big Ornn is not really what you want to hit. So finally, another Ornn item coming in for Kassadin, of course, is the Zhonya's. And I don't want to hear anyone complaining about, he has to wait for Revenant. Nope.
Oh, there's a hook onto Lisa. This is a bit of a fight being engaged here. Chains of Corruptions was used as the Infernal Chains. A lot of chains coming in. The BDSM comp. As the Baron has been turned back on. We're moving straight past it. Zin being poked, and there's the engage from Jase, has used the cage. Tado will find the kill onto this Thresh. Tado? They need to get onto Vit, though. He whiffs his ult, but he has a lot of chakrams. Drops a tower. Can they get onto DK? No, he limps away on about 5 health, and that's the first kill here. Lisa's gone down. PHT charging forward. Glory with the wall, but he goes down, and oh no, it's all gone wrong here for Percent. This is a heavy team fight win for OPG. 4 for 2, and they get the Baron. OPG is in the driver's seat.
Absolutely are. So one lucky thing for 4%, of course, is the timer on the Dragon. So they still have one more chance at the team fight to win against Baron, of course, which is not easy. But if they win, they get the big prize, which is Ocean Soul. This team fight was the 2 carries for OPG really showing up and carrying this team fight. Shine, Yeah, he's a lethality virus. He did not get to shine in that team fight. He was just trying to kite back from PhD, but then there's a level 16 Kassadin jumping on you every 1.5 seconds.
Yeah,
So
kiting a Kassadin.
really not,
good luck.
it's really not something you can easily do. Glory, of course, got the counter kill, but not. Let's look at Shine again. So they actually start off the fight with a kill on Zin, which is nice.
Glory is in the middle of the fight.
Yeah, I think this was one of the biggest mistakes. Glory getting hit by everything there. Both carries completely piling on top of Glory, and he overextended into the fight. Vid even tried to flash on him, so at least Vid's flash is now down. So maybe they can go for a nice little Shurima shuffle on the next team fight and try to secure that one.
So there is steal potential here. Jase is here. Dragon pulled. That got spotted. That could have been very sneaky, but it was spotted. 5,000 health. OPG needs to be careful. They do not want to lose an Ocean Soul. 4,000 now. 3.5. There's an engage. Who's going to get it? And it's taken away by OPG. Ocean Soul will not be given up. This is going to be a big fight win for OPG as well. PHT charging in. He's got a double. He's looking for more. This is absolutely disastrous. I think we might be having game 2 in the books. Zin with a nice hook. And Tado will fall. 4 kills once again. And yeah, game 3. Let's go.
Yeah, Kassadin looking very strong in these team fights because he gets to jump on the back line, and there's no front line for them. For Starter and Jase, of course, we're in the Dragon Pit, so it's super easy for HT to just ignore the front line and jump straight into the back line. Shine and Lisa have nothing, really absolutely nothing to fight against PHT, and he gets an easy double kill. Glory's still alive, but he alone can't defend against this onslaught. And yeah, this is game.
Yeah, this is game. There's no way Percent can fire back against this one. Ooh, big Shurima shuffle, but it doesn't matter if they just get shuffled into your Nexus and it blows up. 1-1. Already a closer series than the start of today. We love to see it. And oh my, the Optimus boys fire back.
Victory. Absolutely not what we expected to see after the super strong start for Percent. I have to say, even though they had the big blunder in Baron and could have easily closed up this game if they went for the Dragon buff instead, I think Percent still looked like the better team for 80-90% of the game. So for me, they are favorites to win the series now. But of course, it's good to see OPG actually being able to steal this one, maybe reset mentally and come into the game 3, 4, 5 a little bit stronger.
Hopefully. And we do have to talk about, realistically, that came down to one very big mistake at Baron. If they hadn't gone for that Dragon for Baron trade, they could have potentially come back. Not even come back, they could have just kept going. They weren't behind.
Yeah, absolutely. They would have forced the enemy team
to open the door.
Decision 5 minutes later for Ocean Soul, where they were still 5k gold ahead at least.
Yeah,
the incrementally growing lead. They would have probably hit something like 7k at that point. And even if on items come in, and even if Kassadin hits level like 15, 16, I don't think it's enough to defend against Ocean Soul. Then Ocean Soul is very easy to just force team fights over and over. Aatrox can't die, J4 can't die. Just win team fights and brute force your way to victory. So just one small macro blunder cost them game 2. And the possibility of a 3-0 sweep.
Absolutely. So we will be back very soon to see who will go up to the 2-1 lead. Could be either team. Both have looked good in different stages. My name is Everyday. With me is Yulwei. And we'll see you very soon. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody, for Game 3 of OPG taking on Percent. OPG firing back after a weak-looking Game 1 to show that they are here to play. And now we've got a best of 3.
That we have. And yeah, Percent has to be a little bit annoyed at themselves for throwing that last game. They could have been up 2-0. This reminds me a lot of the EVOS against Flash series, where EVOS had 2 super strong early games in game 1 and 2, but threw one of the 2, and then suddenly looked at 1-1 and lost the series 1-3. As the enemy team had 2 better early games on the other side. Let's hope for the challenger team that that's not the case today. Of course, we want to see the 5 games And I'm super excited for Percent. So I actually want I have to admit I'm a little bit biased. I want to see them do well this tournament because so far they've impressed me super
Absolutely.
much in macro. Yeah.
Yeah, well, seeing better macro in the VCS is always good. So yeah, Percent, we talked about that play off of the mid lane tower that basically got them 2,000 of a gold lead without team fighting. They just ran everyone over. They were just moving around the map, incredibly smart.
That was such a smart transition and such smart alignment.
And then they bungled it at Baron.
Yeah.
Sad to see. Not great. And I will say, OPG looking very good in team fights.
Absolutely.
They are fantastic team fighters so far.
They picked a strong team fighting common, and why not, right? In the end, you can do the nice macro plays, you can get up 4K, but if you can't team fight, then it will not help you. So OPG, in the end, we have to say the better team in that game, because they were able to catch the throw. They were able to just force team fights later on with Ornn, Kassadin, and of course Aphelios, hitting like trucks, just able to brute force the way to victory. And I would be surprised to see a different style of composition. I think they want to go for something Ornn focused again, just go late game team fighting. Aphelios looked super strong, so I expect him to be banned again. Of course, it seems like Aphelios is just not. They just can't nerf him enough.
I mean, I've got a really good suggestion for how you nerf it. What you do?
Just remove.
You get all of his numbers and just delete them. Delete the champion. Just get him out.
Nice.
Get rid of him.
But think back to the start of the season, right? When we first saw in week 1 of LPL, like mid-January, where we first saw Aphelios, and everyone was like, he looks kind of weak. He only has a 50% win rate. He's a sitting duck. He just dies all the time in team fights. Imagine that iteration of Aphelios today, with people actually knowing how to play the champ. That would be so ridiculous.
I don't want. I think at this, if that had been the last 6 months or 4 or 5 months, I don't know. This year's gone on for 10 years. I think I might be a different game caster. Because I wouldn't want to do that. But we are in Champ Select, and we don't have release of Aphelios. Is in. That's interesting.
So the former top laner for Cerberus, of course, LL and YT were the two kind of trading positions. But most of the time, LL ended up being the starting top laner. YT, a decent top laner. I don't think he was bad or anything. Maybe he has a bigger champion pool than the other top laner for his team, who has only played Aatrox so far in the series. So, yeah. Let's see what he can bring. I don't think top lane was super instrumental, super impactful in the last game. So, yeah, why not change up a little bit? Maybe bring a little bit of a calming voice, a veteran. Even though Taurus is also a veteran, YT maybe a little bit, even more of a calmer voice.
A bit of a more recent veteran for YT. Yep. And the Graves was left over, was banned in some of the games, and it's the instant lock-in. I love Graves.
Oh, man. This Graves variety out of absolutely nowhere is just so fun to see.
I agree.
Like 2 months back, even 1 month back, if you would have told me Graves would be first pickable, I would have
laughed at
you. Very funny. Yeah, because that was not on the horizon, but now he's a very high priority. And picking Olaf into Graves doesn't really sound like the greatest of moves.
No, but Kane, no, they go for the Lee Sin. Kanye will stay in the recording studio. Lee is in.
And so far, Jalse has looked super strong on the early game junglers, so I can understand him going to one of the playmakers.
Kane is never going to be professionally viable until they change how his orbs work.
They buffed him so much.
It doesn't matter until his orbs are changed.
That's fair.
He could have the highest numbers in the game and it wouldn't matter. He can't gank bot lane.
Yeah. If he comes back into play, I think he actually comes back as a solo laner right now.
Maybe.
They buffed his lane phase quite a lot. You get in some matchups, I think you can actually go for mid lane Kane into assassin form and just try to assassinate everyone.
Yeah.
Think back to 2017.
Can you see what's being hovered?
Yes.
Is it happening?
Yes, it's broken.
Is it
Broken.
happening? If this
That's
is
why
locked
there
in,
is
you're
something
solo
like this.
casting. I hope you know that.
Holy moly.
No.
No.
Yulwei got absolutely baited and outsmarted as Braum is the lock-in instead. We nearly had the Soraka.
Braum was pretty good into Grace MF, so yeah, makes a lot of sense. And there's still an opportunity to pick Soraka, of course.
There is.
Soraka back
definitely
to a
top lane.
super OP form on this patch, because for some reason, the Riot decided to revert all the nerfs and stay with all the buffs they gave support Soraka. So now top lane Soraka actually is still as strong as top lane Soraka was on 10.6, or before 10.3 it was, I think. So, and has all the extra utility from support Soraka buffs. So
we spent a
very strong
lot of
champion.
time talking about champions that aren't being picked. We've talked about Kayn and Soraka. Let's talk about the actual drafts. Let's have a look for OPG. They've picked.
Boring.
They are
Every day.
boring.
Boring.
Graves is fun.
You see?
Yeah.
He just farms camps.
I like
It's
him.
not fun.
He was in a cinematic recently, and it was a fun cinematic. So the champion's fun. That's how that works.
He's fun to play because
Yeah.
you never see anything of either team. You just see jungle camps all the time.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay.
Just PvE.
I'm at 150 CS at 15 minutes. Fair. I don't know what my team does. I have no idea what the scoreboard looks like. I just farm the jungle.
But what would you like to see OPG line their comp out with?
Ugh.
Jace is locked in.
A little bit of a little bit of range would be nice for mid lane, I'd say. Maybe an Orianna, maybe an Azir again. Yeah, Corki could be an option. That would be very auto tech focused though, if they go Corki. Jace.
Still, auto attacks that deal different damage. So
Yeah,
not the worst thing.
Absolutely. You could still build a lot of Ninja Tabi. Oh, more poke. Okay. That's more of a mid-range composition. Doesn't really scale too well into late game, in my opinion, with Renekton also being picked into Jace, which is a very strange call to make, because of course Renekton loses lane into Jace. So, yeah,
Very strange.
I mean, Zoe works. A very strong mid-game spike. 2 items is dangerous to fight into Percent, but Percent can now pick a mid laner that gives them superior scaling in team fights. Cassiopeia comes to mind. Oh, Cassiopeia is actually not super great into Grace. Azir struggles into Grace as well, but can be played.
Sandra is the pick.
She got buffed again. She's actually a very strong champion. She gets buffed and buffed and buffed. She has absolutely no cooldown on Q anymore. I wanted to play her today as well. Yeah, she got buffs on Q first for AP ratio, I think. She's now at the 0.8 or 0.9 AP ratio on Q, and now the cooldown got cut by 2 seconds in the early game, so can actually spam that chart all the time.
Yeah.
So,
It's not the late game that you were talking about.
absolutely not. Yeah, she's a little bit better in late game now, especially into full squishy composition. So Lissandra struggles a lot into tanks because her damage does not stick. She has a lot of burst damage. She doesn't really have the consistent DPS other mages offer, and she can't cut through tanks. But she's pretty good into Zoe, MF, and Graves, and very hard to stop for Nautilus. So I don't really mind Lissandra. I would have liked to see a little bit, maybe an Orianna a little bit more. But yeah, this gives their team a little bit more engaged, more CC. Because you also have to look at the support position. Because Braum, of course, does not offer any kind of engage. Pretty much just a lucky punch where you hit ult from far away, and maybe then you can engage. But it's really not an engaged champion.
It's definitely a PL champion.
Lee Sin is your only engage is the downfall of a lot of teams, so it's good to see them at least opt into a little bit more.
For sure. This is a hard one to call. I think both comps have some very strong elements and also some very lacking elements.
Yeah, I'd say I prefer Person's comp because I'm personally not a fan of Renekton, and Renekton is even worse into Jace. So I think Renekton gets negated basically from this composition. It's also quite easy if the Renekton ever gets strong. You can just force Lissandra to just stay on Renekton, and yeah, then he can't really do anything either. So I think Renekton is a little bit of a non-factor here. Graves, in my opinion, I don't think Graves can do too much here either. He can try
He gets an early lead.
Yeah, he can try to smoke screen the Aphelios in team fights, and so Aphelios has to reposition and loses like 3-4 seconds of DPS. That can be very impactful, but yeah, in terms of carrying the game, I don't think he is the one that is able to do that. So yeah, I feel like the team composition on the red side is a little bit more coherent. It's not perfect, of course, but they have a little bit of everything. They can deny the ultimate for MF. They can deny ultimate for Grace with Brom or Shield. I feel like the comp is a little bit more solid, so I favor them.
Okay. We'll have to see. It's definitely not a game that's been won in draft, though. It will come down to the Rift, not an auto win. We do sometimes see, as we will game comps. Based on the last game, I have to favor OPG's team fighting. They just looked a little bit more capable in 5v5.
But with the caveat that their team composition also was very easy to execute in team fights. So we have to see them shine on this harder to execute team fight comp as well. Of course, Zoe, not the easiest champ to team fight on, can be very successful, can also just fall flat on her nose and do nothing in team fights. MF, when she has to play into Braum, just has to rely on her auto attacks, and then it's MF against Aphelios auto attacks. That is not really MF favored.
No, that's very much not MF favored.
So yeah, I think it's much harder for Overpower to win team fights this time around, but they can definitely make it happen. They look like the stronger team fighting team. For sure, last game.
To find out, we will of course be going through the spectator delay. Why do you think they've picked this Renekton? Do you think it's just a comfort pick?
Yeah, Jenko played a lot of Renekton and VCS as well. On was banned, right?
Yes, he was banned in the second rotation.
That makes a lot of sense. I think On would have been the perfect pick here once again. Give your team a little bit more frontline, give them more scaling through items. Renekton into Jace is just something I really can't get behind. I think you just pick another tank if you don't know what to beat Jace and lane with, which of course is hard to do. So then don't play the bruiser that relies on winning lane. I really don't like Renekton into Jace. Of course, if we want to send Decay up top lane all the time and back up the Renekton so you can actually destroy the Jace, fair enough. It's not the easiest jungler to make ganks work either. So yeah, I'm not too happy with the top side for Overpower. I think they've picked themselves into very narrow play condition in the top side. Of course, I think they will just sack top lane. Let Camken suffer in the matchup.
Yeah, Chango I think got used to that in the regular split as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Not the worst thing for him. Now, I'm afraid you'll have to just cover for a moment. I have to just very quickly do one thing. Be right back. You'll have to cover for about 30 seconds.
No problem. So, want to point out the very nice color synergy on the side of Percent. They're nice blue on the bot side and red on the top side. Nice to see. As we now change over to the casters again, they, of course, as we all are, still sitting at home and casting this. Actually, super surprised the LCK moved back to the offline play as well. So South Korea, the first one to go back to a little bit of normalcy. Of course, no visitors allowed or no crowd. Yeah, interested to see if V2 wants to do the same for the summer or whatever the organizer is for VCS. So go back to a crowd, go back to offline, maybe not to a crowd, but back to offline play. Online play, of course, was handled quite well. We had some weird delays where patches didn't work and we had to fix the game here and there. But overall, I think VCS handled the online situation quite well. So
I agree.
Excited to see what they do for summer.
Absolutely. And I have a lot of faith in them, of course. Now that MSI has been cancelled, Summer Split will be moved back to its normal time. So they have a few months to figure out what they're doing. Absolutely. Yep. And also, Vietnam is actually beginning to reopen, so We may well just be back on LAN.
Yeah. As LCK is already back on LAN, I expect some of the Asian leagues to follow suit and also go back to LAN. Maybe without crowd, but yeah.
Yeah, I think without crowd it will be the norm for a little while, but I think they can get the teams back on LAN. Maybe have them sitting a bit further apart than normal.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, in one team, I don't think it really matters, because even online play, of course, they all sit in the same room and don't really follow all the guidelines to social distancing.
And if you're living
together, right?
If you're living together, like, you're going to touch the same stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So makes a lot of sense. But it's only between teams, of course. And if everyone is checked before they enter the stadium, I think it probably can work. Yeah. But now we finally move into game. There we are. Game 3. This one could be super, super important for the series and indicate a lot of what is going to happen in the last 2 games, maybe only 1 game after this one. I can't read anything.
G'day, Korea.
I can actually try.
Fair enough. As we do have the early gambits by the teams. Looks very defensive. Ooh, never mind. The Graves has just dashed over a wall. DK is very deep. And OPG not spotted with this play. Percent really has no idea.
Emote so much.
I think emote should be allowed forever. The angry bee is amazing.
Angry bee is just perfect. I like all the bee emotes. The sad bee is also so sad. Even though I think for sad, I think you should use the sad nar. Sad nar. Just perfect.
All of my emotes are smug. I don't have a sad emote. I've been playing jungle a lot, so I just have the tent.
Nice. I need the tent as well.
If I go up to top lane and kill them, just flash the tent and be like, I'll be back. As it is the invade here at level 1, but it was very, very much spotted. So both junglers know what's up. We should have vertical jungling out of this.
So first interesting thing to see in terms of runes, of course. YT running the Conqueror in the top lane, indicating that he wants to go for longer trades, maybe indicating he wants to go for something like a Blade of the Moon King and move into split push position later on. As usually we see things like Airy, sometimes we see Electrocute, Phase Rush. Jace actually has a lot of runes he can go for. So
Omnistone, come on. That's how it works, right? If you have more than 2 runes that you like, you just go Omnistone every game.
I actually think it's probably viable on Jace, honestly. You can make use of almost every rune.
Shut you down.
You get a PTA. If you get PTA in the lane or Hail of Blades, I think it's not the worst. Of course, Lethal Tempo maybe not the greatest rune on Jace.
Probably not. As he does get a decent trade here. That said, Lethal Tempo could be really funny if you proc it in ranged form and then use the attack speed with your hammer.
Yeah, the classic. I actually think Jace. I'm not sure Conqueror works on Jace because Black Cleaver on Jace.
Sorry, we do have a little bit of a contest here, and DK secured the buff. Right. Well done by DK. That's the 3 buff secured. He went red to blue. He's cleared no actual camp. So he cleared a Raptor camp. And Glory in the mid lane goes incredibly low. Not the best start here for percent.
Yeah, PhD rolled an Ignite early on, so Glory's Glory's not too happy with the RNG gods. Next one will be Redemption to really hammer in this lane victory for Zoe. Absolutely deserved, of course.
Yep.
Just superior RNG luck.
And it is a bit of a fight here. It looks like they want to contest who's getting the Scuttle Crab, but Jarse will get it with the Smite. A lot of resources actually sort of being lost. This is very aggressive out of OPG.
Oh, now Zoe in a very strange position. Look at that. Zoe
Zoe is very caught, tagged up with the Lee Sin Q, which has just been activated and uses the flash to get away.
Nicely done. Very, very nicely played for PhD.
Yeah, waited out as much of the Lee Sin.
Yep. Waited up the Lee Sin to not get followed over the wall, so he had.
But could just get caught again. Was a little bit cocky, but the Q missed from Jarse, so will live. If that had hit, that was a dead Zoe.
Yeah, so far Jase not hitting the spells as much as he did in the first 2 games, so a little bit of a slower start, and DK already up to 1 level lead. Of course, he got all the 3 of the 4 buffs this time around, so a little bit of extra experience. Lost the bot side scuttle crab, got the top side, so he's in a very good position. His jungle camps respawning on top side already. He's just back to power farming.
Absolutely. You talked about how Graves doesn't see either team, but so far this has been a very active Graves.
Yeah.
Definitely getting out there, looking for some bounties.
Now is the opportunity to clear into level 5 and go for Dragon. Of course, red side is very nice for Graves because he can enter the Dragon Pit without getting caught by the vision on the other side. So this would be one of the options he can go for. He's already level 5, now working on the Grom, so will soon head towards level 6 and maybe go for a little bit of a burst gank.
That collateral damage, of course, is very good for damage ganking. Loading the big shot.
So that's not the greatest to happen for him. He's still spotted on the ward there, so YT lured him in a little bit and... Okay.
Little bit of damage, but nothing big. Should be a tower plate. The DK shows himself to get a tower plate. That's not terrible. Pretty good.
And YT does not have teleport. So
that's bad.
This is so much experience and farm denied from the Jace. This Renekton already hit level 6. He's more than 1 level ahead. So this is a very bad sign for the top lane. Of course, Jace kind of needs to win this one. And he's already looking pretty weak. Very nice early investment of time for DK to secure a very strong early start for his top laner.
For sure. This has been very impressive out of DK. I really like him on this Graves so far. I'll have to see how he does as the game moves on and if Jase can catch up a little bit. And speaking of Jase, he has guided his team over to the Dragon Pit to secure the first mountain.
And Dragon was not expecting to be hit by red-white this early in the game. That's usually more of a Baron play. Instead, this time utilized to just get the quick reset and take Dragon for free. Nice bonus resistances, of course. Maybe the weakest early game Dragon in the game.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe it or Infernal.
Infernal is also not a lot of stats.
Ooh, DK gets a little bit caught out, but it is a 3-on-4. Maybe it's Lisa that's caught, but here comes Lissandra. There's the ult onto the Zoe. They're going to try and blow her up and get first blood, which they manage, but it's a 1-for-1 so far. Can they turn this around? Shine has arrived. He's doing a lot of damage. He's got the chakrams, swinging them over. DK flashes the wall. Zin spider naughts away. So it's a 2-for-1 in the favor of Percent. What can Vit get in the bot lane? Oh no, it's an instant TP. He can't get anything.
It's Braum TP.
No, it's Lissandra.
They channel at the same time. That was
Braum TP. Oh, DK getting caught here. Gets hit by the resonating strike.
It's not
and that's Nautilus hook. Woohoo! That was totally fair.
Yeah, absolutely. Just grabbing someone from behind a wall. That is how that works. Oh, Shine.
Shine, very low, but he'll be able to walk away, no problem.
Still on red-white. Holy.
Hasn't been pressing Q much, apparently.
Yeah. Deserve to say stacks very well. So now Percent equalized the gold lead. And of course, they got the early dragon. So stabilized the game big time. And Laurie in a little bit of an experience advantage now. Jase, of course, pretty far behind. I actually want to see the scoreboard for once to actually have a glimpse of the CS disadvantage because it's probably pretty big right now. And Lisa into that one big time.
Just a bit.
What was that?
Oh, that was a little bit ugly, but Shine has arrived back to the lane to right the ship. I'd really love to see a scoreboard. Don't know what the CS deficit is.
Apparently not allowed.
It's been a little while. Could we please have a scoreboard? One day?
No, I don't think so. It's
Rift Herald.
Very confusing to look at PHT, and W is just exhaust. But of course, that's how Zoe works. I just forgot that it's actually animated like that in your spells as well. It's A little bit strange. Not a Zoe player myself. So,
Good. Wouldn't be casting together. I'll put up with your Soraka, but if you were a Zoe main, that's it.
Yeah, fair enough.
It is the Rift Herald. Rift Herald has already been traded for 2 tower plates in the bot side, so we have to begin asking the question if it's worth it, and 1 in the mid lane.
Top side is down to 3, so they can actually break the top 10 turret with the Rift Herald, so I think it's probably worth it in the end.
Hey, scoreboard's back. It was only a 4 CS deficit top side.
Yeah, but we look at the jungle. That's the more interesting one, and it's a 20 CS in favor of Graves. Graves is already level 7, while just hit level 6. So
did Shelly not charge?
Wait, what the?
Why has Shelly not charged?
Wait, that is.
Did they drop it inside the turret and it glitched? That's not good.
Whoa. But it cost them actually this charge on the second turret.
Yeah, it did.
Wait, what? And we don't see his pause. That's very surprising.
Well, I think if you place it so that she pops inside the tower and glitches out, because she can't stand inside the tower, obviously, then you don't get a charge. So it's not...
I've never seen that before.
It's not a bug, it's actually a mistake.
Oh, interesting.
I think.
Well, in the end, they still got the turret. Cost them a little bit more time and enough time for Jace to actually wait out Charlie and get back to the lane. So they get more gold for top and jungle, but in the end, Jace is still kind of fine with the situation. And looking at the gold totals, is also only 500 gold. So yeah, now we have to take into consideration that they actually gave up 3 plates in bot lane and 1 plate in mid lane for the Shelly play, and then fumbled the Shelly. So
they did
not the greatest situation.
It was gold positive, but nowhere near as gold positive as it could have been.
Yeah, very, very slightly only. So you also have to take into consideration the time and tempo loss for taking Shelly in the first place, because that takes a little bit of time. So
for sure.
In the end,
second Drake.
Really,
Yulwei, what's it going to be?
Ocean.
All right. He's picked Ocean. 1,000 health on the Drake. He's got it!
Yes!
The curse is broken. Yulwei predicted a Dragon Rift. Oh, that's the most exciting thing that's happened this game.
We'll just always predict Ocean from now on. For some reason, it's always Ocean.
As there is a dive in the bot lane being brewed up, but it looks like Percent want to get ahead of it, but they're not blocking the MF ult. Braum was just CC'd the entire time, and I think it's all gone wrong. As all of OPG's here, they've got 2 kills already. YT very, very low. PHT on the hunt, definitely wants this kill, misses every spell, but does enough damage anyway. Goes down to the Lee Sin, and Jase should be able to get away. So in the end, it's a 3 for 2. 3 for 1 even.
Oh man, this has to be one of the worst Braum games I've ever seen. Yes, the Braum is supposed to E against MF ults.
It's very tricky though. You have to actually move your mouse in her direction and press E.
It's quite hard to do.
That is a 2-step process. That's more than I know my brain can do.
Second time in a row he messed up his shield against
MF. Shocking. Really shocking. Go back to Bard. Doing great.
Yeah, his enchanters looked a little bit better. So let's look at this again.
It was pointed the wrong way.
Yeah, this is okay. We have to cut him some slack because he actually wanted to move aggressively into Grace. He just forgot about the EMF, which of course is something that shouldn't happen. But at least it wasn't a mistake where you're like, okay, this is just mechanical.
Ooh, we come back to the top lane where we might be talking about some mechanics. As Jase flash kicks, and that's an easy kill. YT will be getting himself a crocodile skin handbag. Too easy.
Yeah, very good. 600 gold in the pockets of Jace, who needs a little bit more gold to scale. Actually, really hate the itemization from Camcan in this game. I don't think you go Blade of the Moon King in this matchup.
There's no tanks.
Yeah. I don't like the Borg. Makes him very squishy and very easy to pick. As we just saw, he went down, had nothing to fight for. So should be a very easy target to kill repeatedly. And with the Sandra and Lee Sin, they have a lot of CC for him.
Absolutely. As we do see up in the top side, it is an 800 gold lead for Kemken, even after that kill. This Jace definitely needs some help, as he needs to win this lane or he's not very useful as the game goes on. He's now in a position to do so.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised why he didn't go for the Muramana builds here. Maybe he wants to go into that now, because usually that's something that the Shy does a lot if he gets ganked early on, because it gives the champ a little bit better scaling. It's a very cost-efficient item, and when you can't win lane, most of the time on Jace, you don't lose it either, right? You just stand there and catch waves, because no one can actually kill you, because you're Jace. So yeah, I like the Maramuna build here. He just wants to go full lethality, which is understandable as well, looking at the other team composition. Not a whole lot of tanks. I guess a half tank and Zin.
Yeah. As Shirley has been started up, Jase is here, and I think they know something's up. Spot that now. But I think they just have to give this one up. They're just giving this one up. Giving it away. All right, down in the bot side, Aphelios
open up.
Will get a tower.
Yeah, so this result should be used to open up mid lane, so they can actually try to play like Person did in the last game, where they opened up mid lane turret, of course, way earlier, and then moved ahead the inside track to every single objective and got all the dragons, all the rift halls. So this should be utilized to do the same. It's not super easy into Lissandra, of course. She has a very efficient wave clear, just spams or rolls over a keyboard once and all the wave is gone. So they have to look for an opportunity to maybe push her out of lane and then use the result afterwards.
Yeah, for sure. And hopefully we get a scoreboard back soon, because we need to check in with the items, because of course there are some pretty important breakpoints, particularly for someone like Shine, who hasn't done very much yet on the Aphelios, has been very quiet. But that's not the worst thing ever. If an Aphelios can just scale up forever, well, we know what Aphelios can do.
Yeah, it's been farming up. Was participating in the first team fight over in the top side of... oh god, the damage.
That was pretty intense. Does have the red gun to try and recover. But very, very low.
Item. Very balanced champion.
As Rift Herald has been summoned up, this should be the easy mid lane break open. Shine, after taking that damage, just can't really do much about it. Do a lot of damage, and the tower will break. Very good there for OPG. They grow their small lead even more. And oh no, Jase gets caught, but does manage to ward hop away. Gets knocked up, but it's all good. 5 members still alive. The Ocean Drake has survived. Glory with a massive flank. Goes in, hits the ult and the W. This is a big fight. It's kicking off hard and fast. In the backside, we have DK just getting absolutely shredded. 1-for-1 so far. Vit gets a good bullet time, dealing a fair bit of damage. Glory very, very low. Caught between a rock and a hard place. He goes down. Double kill for DK now. It was actually Zin that went down earlier. I miscalled it. As Shine gets one back onto PHT. YT flashing away. Does take the double up damage. But Shine is still here. Kemken flashes forward onto him. And bang! This is very easy. DK gets 3 in that fight. Kemken gets 1. And Percent get destroyed.
Yeah. This was such a good flank for Lissandra, but just not the damage right now, especially on Lissandra, but also on Jace and Aphelios, to make this AoE a burst work. I think the coordination between Lissandra and Jace was also not perfect. I think Jace had the opportunity to land like a 4-man shock blast, but I think it wasn't cooldown still, especially the E. So timing not quite there. Let's look at this again. Yeah, look at this. The E is down for YT, so you can't actually get the big shock blast follow up. So it's only Lissandra damage, even though 2 members dropped to 50% HP. It's not enough to lock them down, especially because Vit disengages with his ultimate. And now, yeah, Shine does a good job, flashes forwards and kills PHT, but then Kim still has his flash available to stop anything they wanted to go for on backside. That was nicely done.
Yep, well done there by Kemken.
But DK, of course, is a strong Grace. He has a lot of early power to just slam his Q into a wall and deal a lot of damage.
Yeah, absolutely. Living up to the name at the moment, as he's definitely creating a few graves in this game. 3-0-5, a very, very good Graves performance.
Yep, 40 CS up. He's on track. A little bit behind the solo laners, but just not great. Grace usually wants to keep pace with the solo lanes in terms of farm, but he also secured 8 kills for his team, so fair enough.
Okay.
2 items built up. Once again, double Black Cleaver in his team. Once again, not the biggest fan. I think in this game it's a little bit more understandable. There isn't really a substitution for a Renekton you can go for. So if anything, you want to substitute the Black Cleaver for Graves, but then again, it's a very big power spike on 2 items. So
yeah, I think it's okay.
I can understand this one a little bit more.
I mean, the Graves could have gone first on item lethality. That's risky though, because you'd really like the health from Black Cleaver.
You like the extra brawling power from 20% cooldown as well. Lethality items only give you 10%, so it's a bigger spike in that aspect as well. So can definitely understand going for the early power spike here. It's a little bit less bad.
We have the Bilgewater trio up on the top side, looking to get the tower and Zoe.
What? He one-shot the turret.
What? Oh.
He one-shot the Aphelios turret.
Did he? Did they just attack at the same time?
Maybe. Yeah.
I think they might have just hit at the same time, because when they went to clear the second one, it didn't.
Makes sense. It's another flank here, and Laurie with a lot of speed. He has the available, but he's in vision, so now it's he doesn't have flash, so he can't go for flash ultimate. Not quite in range here. Try to go for the teleport speed into flank, but not quite there. So once again, Percent has to go away, tail between the legs, and have to reset again. Farm up bot side. It's looking like Kankan wants to pressure the turret here, so more time to just catch the waves and farm up as much as possible.
For sure. And something to comment on here is this Lissandra pick. It has been good, but it's a question of whether or not this is a pick that Percent should be going for. Glory, as Vinnie set up before game 1, Glory is the carry of this team. He's their best player. Do you stick your best player on Lissandra?
Yeah, it's one of those discussions. You can definitely carry with Lissandra, not through superior mechanics or anything, but with game sense, with flanks, knowing where to position to look for the great engages, like you can carry with something like Rakan. So some teams like to put their carries on the more mobility utility mid laners. We had like DR1 Galio before as well. So
yeah.
Can understand why, especially if Shine is able to provide the DPS. But yeah, looks like the team is not quite as strong as in the first 2 games.
Absolutely. And OPG definitely looking like they've overcome the nerves that might have been present. They were obviously a very hyped team. Optimus coming back into the VCS, obviously not as a player, as a CEO, definitely put some pressure on his players. I think they've got a lot to live up to. They don't want to let him down. Not a comment about Optimus, of course, just in general. You don't want to let a veteran of the VCS down.
Yeah.
HT.
So it's all a bit of ping-ponging right now. Not a lot going on.
A little bit.
Just catching some waves. So we can focus on some of the objectives that will be relevant later on. Looking at...
Never mind.
Will this be engaged? No, I don't think so. Looking at Baron damage... It's not the greatest on the side of OPG, but I think the... I think the Graves gives them enough DPS to actually burst down Baron quite quickly as well. On the other side, we have Aphelios, so whenever he hits red-white, it's basically a solo Baron.
Yep. Oh, God, look at him just destroy the Raptors.
Poor things. Oh,
that's not okay. As a bird owner, I object. As Xin has been caught out here, but a good bullet time. The shield did go up, but the damage was still too much. Lisa has gone down, and Percent has to run the hell away. They do manage to get a bit of distance. There's the Sleepy Trouble bubble thrown out, and Shine has just been caught. Xin does go down, but it's an Aphelios for a Nautilus trade. I think you take that every day of the week if you're OPG. Now they have full control of this top quadrant.
Now?
Don't
Enemy
think.
jungler is still available. Glory is quite scary to deal with.
Ooh, a
in
lot
the
of
Baron.
damage onto YT, but they're going to keep going here. Glory! Oh,
Glory.
the instant QSS out of PHT. Very well done there.
He's one
DK
of
goes
them.
into the enemy base to get that kill. PHT still on the run. Glory can't catch him. And now Glory's absolutely stuffed. As he goes golden, the crab comes out. And DK makes sure it's a crab rave because Glory is gone.
Yeah, there we go. OPG finally finding maybe the last engage of the game that really matters, because now they're very far ahead. Only 4 minutes away from their Ocean Soul this time around on their side. This looks like OPG has finally found their form. Percent this game around, yeah, really not looking too great. YT coming in the top lane, getting hard focused from the enemy team immediately after coming in. I'm not sure if you change back to your top laner, Tardo.
Tardo, yeah. TAD.
Tardo, right.
Tardo.
Yeah.
As Zin throwing himself forward here, the bullet time is good. Do they have enough damage to kill the Nautilus? They do, but the Sleepy Trouble Bubble will mean it's a support for a support, and the flank from Ken. I don't know what the hell that collateral damage was out of DK. That was about half a screen away from hitting.
Hey, you wanted to participate, okay?
He didn't hit anything.
He's tired of playing PvE. He's tired of playing PvE, which I don't understand. Why would you play jungle if you got tired of PvE?
Particularly Graves. But it is Shine going down regardless. And this is an easy Baron.
It's 2 levels ahead of Jase.
Oh, they're going to go over the wall. The ult was used. That is a shutdown onto the Zoe, but Jase just instantly dies to the double up. Glory won't be going too far. And the happy bee. Apparently bees like watching their owners die, as Glory was not surviving for long after that one. And then they'll go back to Baron, and this should be pretty free.
Yeah, DK.
Great Graves
is actually quite good at tanking the Baron as well, with the E giving him more and more armor. He has a little bit of innate lifesteal when you go for some of the items. So yeah, should of course the jungle item mostly helping him. So this should be quite easy to look at the speed. It's actually quite intense.
It was, and it is taken. It was a little bit dicey at the end, but everyone survived. Kemken had to ult.
Honestly, this is a FF game. If you were in this game, I think you would definitely press the FF button. I would. I know I would. This is 2 minutes from Ocean Soul. You have no real chance of winning team fights. Your mid laner doesn't deal damage. Your top laner doesn't deal damage. Your ADC, okay, is Aphelios, but there's too much for him to deal with.
You know, it's a little bit over, where the thing I was most wanting to comment on during a Baron play was that I liked Graves' skin. It is his best skin. Mafia Graves is fantastic.
Yeah, I like Mafia as well.
Really nice. It's one of the first skins I bought, because back when Graves was an ADC.
Graves is a very good skin as well.
Yeah,
it has very cool chromas, very cool color scheme. Like this one as well.
I like Graves. I like Mafia Graves because it's a cool theme.
Yeah, I mean, Graves is interesting to watch in pro play. For some reason, when I play Graves, I end up not doing anything but farm.
He's very, very fun. I miss old Graves.
4 items. I'm super strong. And
Ooh, Ken getting engaged on here. Does get ulted by the Lysandra. That's an easy kill for Shine. Just a bit too far forward was the Crocodile.
Now 50 seconds away from the dragon. He doesn't have TP, so this is an opportunity for Hassan to maybe find a way back into this game. Of course, 6 item affiliates is always a win condition. So if they can prevent this Ocean Drake from happening, it's spawning in 35 seconds. So still some time to set it up. Of course, they have to defend mid lane as well. So
they are pushing
easiest,
in.
but can they? Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's right. He has TP, of course, so he wants to trade a little bit of gold. Maybe they can force a team fight here. Of course, DK actually was super smart build into the Sandra to go for the Banshee's Veil AD version.
Night's Veil.
Night's Veil.
No, not Night's Veil. Edge of Night.
Edge of Night, that's the one.
And it looks like they won't be in position to contest this dragon. this will be an Ocean Soul. This game is OVA over.
By the way, what is going on with the brushes here?
Yeah, that's a visual bug.
Confused us a lot in the first play, where Lysandra actually stood in one of the brushes and was not visible, but it, for some reason, was not actually counted on our screen. So,
yeah, for sure. I don't think Percent can fight into an Ocean Soul. Even
I
with
really
an
can't.
Aphelios.
Ocean Soul makes Renekton scale because he can actually just stay in the backline forever and be a full tank, even though he builds offensive items. So yeah, this is very over. They don't even have any kind of heal reduction yet, which is a little bit foolish because they could have seen the Ocean Soul coming.
Yeah, I think they're just maybe going for the Elder last ditch. Like, I think they know how this game's going.
It's not the worst call to make. To
Yeah.
just go, okay, even if we prevent Ocean Soul from happening now with the one catch, maybe we still can't win team fights. So let's just gamble everything on Elder. Try to somehow survive the 6 minutes to Elder, which will not be easy. Still 5 minutes to go. And they kind of have to at least preserve one of their inhibitors to be able to even move out of the base. So the next 5 minutes will be not the easiest.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. For sure. And
OPG...
Glory went for the play. He went for the glory, but he's not finding much as he goes golden and then uses his own ult and finally goes down to the Zoe of PHT. DK once again getting his crab on. Easy peasy. This game's over.
Why would you go in there?
They know it's over. They just want the game to end.
Then just press FF, honestly.
Maybe they're not allowed.
Borderline griefing.
Yep. That was some negative gaming.
Yeah, indeed. So here we go. Look at all the... Oh my god, the Ocean Soul is disgusting.
It's gross.
Look at Kenken.
It's gross.
Oh man.
He was on the fountain before, just to point it out. He fountain dived, and he's still alive and on near full health.
Always full HP, yeah.
Yep, as 2 inhibs are taken.
Actually, not the game yet. So
I don't know why not.
I guess they were too scared of diving Aphelios, which, yeah, he has Guardian Angel, so kind of understandable. Beneath 2 turrets, it can be quite dicey. So there is still an outside chance, 4%.
There's a chance that a meteor will smash through my roof and kill me on camera. I wouldn't be putting money on it, though.
Also, 4 items already built for Vid, so he's actually dealing a lot of DPS as well. It's not only the Aphelios in this game. MF can deal quite a lot of damage as well. Of course, not quite the auto-attack focused ADC that Aphelios is, but still, on 4 or 5 items, she still has 400 AD and 75% crit chance, so
absolutely
can hit like a truck too.
As there is a brawl in the bot side, and shockingly enough, you can't 1v1 a Renekton with Ocean Soul. Weird, I know. Like, I don't know, maybe that's just a bit of League of Legends wisdom that I've picked up. But Jace actually loses that 1v1.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call it 1v1. The Renekton just stood there, was like, seriously, dude?
It's like swatting a fly. It's like when a semi-truck going 200 kilometers an hour down the freeway hits a fly. On the windscreen. As
honestly,
Baron...
I think Renekton could probably stand inside his minions, or enemy minions, for like 30 seconds, and then turn on Jace and would still win.
As they are looking to Baron here. OPG playing this surprisingly safe as PHT flashes over the wall. This is going to be the engage. This should be it, as lots of damage onto Shine. He was the shining hope, and he's going to get back out of that GA. Did a lot, that item, as he is dead, as is Lisa. Lisa, it's a good game, but not having a good game.
Yeah. Really not. The B is very sad now, and finally the game is over. Took a little bit longer for OPG to close than it maybe should have, but in the end it was a very comfortable victory. And finally the first game where they actually looked like the better team. Favorites today, I'd say. Very hyped team, of course. And finally looking like the VCS team they were for the season.
That they were, and with the upgrade theoretically, the upgrade in the jungle, they should be only looking better, and they did look much better in that game. It was a very dominating performance out of DK as well, someone we've had our doubts about as a player. He looked fantastic on that Graves.
Worked wonders.
That needs to be banned. Never letting him have that one again. So they are now on match point. Can we go to game 5? or will it just be a 4-game series? We'll find out soon. My name has been Everyday. With me has been Yulwei. And we'll be back very, very soon to see if OPG can lock in their first series victory as a team, or if we will be going to the Silver Scrapes. We'll find out soon, guys. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, this is round 1 of the promotion tournament back in about 10 minutes.
Should be 10. Should be less than that. But we'll see. Welcome back, everybody, for Game 4 of OPG taking on
Welcome
Percent.
back, everyone.
Oh, I'm muted in Discord, aren't I? Oh, dear. There we go. Don't worry. I did do an intro. I was just muted in Discord.
Ah, nice.
No worries. Great job.
Again was a little bit.
No, it's okay.
Nice.
But we are back for Game 4, as I was saying. But of course, I need my co-cast to be able to hear me. What is your impression? Is OPG just the better team, or does Percent have paths back here?
Saying they're just a better team is very aggressive after 3 games we've seen.
Well, on the day.
They might be the better
On
team
the day.
right now. I think Percent was better in the first 2 games, but through the second one. And OPG was very clearly the better team in the third game, which bodes well for the fourth game, of course, because they have the mental edge. They played against YT, they shut him down. He is probably a little bit tilted from this game, where he didn't get to play League a whole lot. And then also DK looked much better on the Grace. But I think if we once again go back to Grace ban and force DK and his counterpart into an even matchup, we might actually see more Percent-favorite games. So
Potentially.
I'm not ready to call it yet. I think OPG is definitely coming in as the favorite to close it out here. Maybe something like 60%, but I think so far Percent has impressed me and definitely still has chances to make it to the next round as the winner.
For sure, and honestly, I think both of these teams have been super impressive, regardless of what the result ends up being. I think both of these teams deserve to move on. I'd love to see both of these teams in the VCS based off the 3 games that we. Hopefully, they can keep that going.
And of course, they have a second chance, even if they lose.
Yep,
right? So it's double elim. So whoever loses has to face off against the very weak-looking other challenger team. I don't actually know their name.
FTV and QG.
No, FTV won, right? QG, right?
Yeah, QG.
So if the losers plays against the QG for another chance in the elimination match, and then moves on to the qualification match afterwards, where the loser of the next game, the winner of this one, faces off against FTV, of course, and whoever wins there gets straight into VCS. So it's the same system as LCK, if you're familiar with that one. Just double elim. Win 2, you're in. Lose 2, you're out.
Yeah, pretty simple, honestly. And we do now have Percent back on the blue side, and Craves has actually been banned out by Overpower. So they're afraid of it being picked away. Makes sense.
They're sticking to their bans on red side, which were Syndra, Grace, and I think the last one was... I don't actually remember. Aphelios? No. Aphelios was open.
Well, we'll have to find out, because they may well do it again.
See.
Bard is the third ban
right.
this time. Lisa will not be going
In
back.
the second game, they had these 3 bans as well. In the first game, of course, they didn't, because Bard was picked, and Lisa performed great on the Bard. So it's very impressive whenever a support player can force the enemy team into permaban. The same happened in the final, of course, of VCS, where Gam was too afraid to play against CBL Thresh and banned him all 5 games.
Very true. And it is Percent picking up the Varus once again.
Over Aphelios again.
Yep, they think the Varus is better than Aphelios. And honestly, he might be. He does a lot of damage a bit earlier than Aphelios.
Yeah, he has 2 modes. He's very flexible, but I think Aphelios is probably still my number 1 go-to ADC. He could go Aphelios on here for ultra late game scaling.
Could.
It's once again a few troll hovers for DK. He hovered the Amumu last game as well. It seems to be J4 for now. So ADC and jungler, not the most. It's quite surprising with Aphelios. I think with Aphelios we tend to see Thresh And we can see Thresh will be picked away, of course, because the Fellier Thresh is a super strong combo, provides the Felliers with another, or with an actual escape. Yeah, a safety net or a safety lantern. And it's nice for Varus as well, of course. He doesn't have an escape either, so it's very good into J4 as well. I'm quite surprised to see J4 prioritized over the Thresh, because Thresh is kind of a counter into J4. You can just put the lantern down wherever J4 jumps to, and then, yeah, reset the fight. And there we go!
The Wukong! You finally get to break your Wukong cherry. You get to cast the monkey. Comes out. I think the Jarvan early pick, I want to make one point about the Jarvan. Yeah. It soft banned Olaf, which I actually kind of like in the first rotation.
That's a good point.
Continue.
I still I think I would have liked to see the Thresh into then potentially J4 if the enemy team does not go J4. And we have seen Jase go to Rek'Sai, so it's quite likely they go Rek'Sai once again. So actually not the biggest fan of their pick and ban strategy here. But Wukong, yeah. Wukong, of course, just got nerfed on this patch. He's actually significantly weaker. A little bit of armor was taken away. Actually, three armor in level 1 is quite a bit, especially because the champ, of course, scales up in terms of armor very quickly with his passive, and some of the damages got removed. So it's not quite as strong as a few patches back, but of course, still a strong champion and can do a lot against champs like Varus, who can't move away from him.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a very good pick, I think, already into the Varus. Does have a Thresh to help him get away, which is always nice.
Yeah. But it's only, the Thresh can only do so much, right? We already talked about Thresh being able to bail him out of J4 ult.
Can't do both.
He can, right. He can only do either, and especially if Wukong maybe lays in wait, sets up a nice little flank from behind, and waits for the J4 ult to actually happen, and then Thresh bails Varus out, and then suddenly Wukong strikes from behind and re-engages on Varus, and then Varus has absolutely no means of getting out of there. So
yeah,
the Thresh is not very likely.
I don't think Zed's gonna get picked.
On is still open. On into Wukong should do okay. It's of course not a matchup you want to go for, but I think On can definitely survive. There we go. This looks way more like the attack speed Varus to me, because they kind of lack the damage. They could go Zio again to go lethality Varus, and this time around there's no big tank on the other team, so it makes a little bit more sense. But then again, you can just go attack speed as well.
Corki's the final pick here. Interesting, a late game carry for sure.
Corki for Glory. Glory is supposed to be the main carry, so this time around he's actually on a champ that can carry late game. He will face off against Wukong mid lane. Nautilus mid lane, of course. Seems like they want to go. Oh no, there we go. Okay, Cassio Ori. Okay, Orianna. Very strong combination with two of the ball carriers on her team. I think that's why they changed from Cassio to Orianna in the last second, because they actually realized Orianna Wukong, super strong setup for team fights, very threatening for Varus, and can even disrupt the Lantern. So you can use the Orianna ult to actually interrupt Lantern, and then Varus can't even get out in the first place. Orianna and Corki should just be farm fests, so not much happening in lane there, which is often the case, of course, with Corki lanes. One of the reasons he's not the most liked champ in the community.
True. That said, Corki in this comp has potential to be pretty exciting, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
I think he could be very, very fun. I think there's the Rek'Sai as early game play, and then Corki and the Varus to an extent to be the late game, the mid game, and then the late game. But whose comp do you kind of favor here?
That's a good question. I feel like Corki can't really get cored if he plays correctly. So I think late game Corki and Ornn should be able to carry this one. There's a lot to dive the Varus, but actually not that great, not that many tools to dive Corki. against Package and especially also against Valkyrie, of course. So I feel like Person might have the small edge, but it's hard to call. The overpower composition is very explosive. They have so many flank opportunities. Ball carrier, Wukong will be very interesting to watch. So
Yeah.
I would slightly favor Percent, especially if they go for
Ball carrier Wukong
Burrows.
sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
If he gets a good flank, that is an instant team fight win.
Yeah, it is. That's, I think, why they wanted to go Orianna, even though PHT would likely go to a more solo carry style champ. But I like the Orianna here a lot. I think it buys a lot of time for Aphelios as well, defensively. Then you go again. She has 2 modes as well. She can play very aggressively, go for use Wukong as a ball carrier, maybe even J4, and then just look for instant burst ults. She can also try to peel for Aphelios. She can do a lot and provide overpower with a lot of scaling, safety, and just mid control. So
yeah,
it's honestly very hard to call in draft. I think this is
Very
much more reliant on actual play than just a straight up draft victory. Even though if Wukong can be contained by On, I think it's quite hard for Overpower to make teamfights work, because Corki and Varus will shred through all the front line. And then Orianna and Aphelios are not the easiest carries to use aggressively, like from super far away to actually get the kills, because they lack tools to follow up. They lack extra movement speed. They lack the ability to killer instinct into their backline. So once the front line for Overpower is dead, I think a Person just moves in and clears up the fight.
Yeah, I think it is going to be that initial burst. If Percent is still standing and still healthy at the end of that, they'll be okay. It is a very front-loaded team fight here from it.
Absolutely is.
So
yeah,
could be a lot of fun. Jase, of course, was fantastic in game 1 on the Rek'Sai.
Oh, he smurfed big time.
Absolutely smurfed on OPG. So if we can see another performance like that, that bodes very well for the boys from Percent, who, of course, need to win this game.
Yeah, but they do. If they lose this one, we actually end up with VCS A against VCS A in the winners match.
Which is a bit boring.
Which would be a little bit disappointing, yeah. We have seen VGA, which is, of course, now Overpower, against FTB for a few too many times. FTB actually running away with that head-to-head. I think they had the 2-0 advantage in the regular season. The only reason they actually moved ahead of VGA in terms of placing and got the easier team, which is why Overpower now has to face against the best challenger team, which of course is Percent. So for this is a much more even matchup, and we are kind of hoping for both teams to succeed. Maybe both make it into the VCSA for summer again.
Hopefully, I mean,
but you never know, right? FTB could also just once again.
Having watched both teams, I've watched all 4 teams. Obviously, I know you missed the first series.
It's that walking animation. What?
Which one? Rek'Sai?
Wukong.
Oh, Wukong, yeah. He looks a bit...
What is going on?
But yeah, it is... I think these teams are better than FTB. Personally, it's obviously hard to judge because FTV just ran QG over. Ooh, uh-oh. As 5 in a brush have been found, a big flay. Vit gets exhausted, has to flash, but they don't have enough skills to actually lock him down. But getting the Aphelios flash at level 1, we love it.
You might want to pause for like 1-2 seconds.
Oh, sure thing. Do you want to resync at 110?
110? Yes, sounds good to me.
I'm paused.
7, 8, 9, and 10.
Go. Sorry about that, everyone. Welcome to Bootleg Casting. We do sometimes have to resync our streams, so we are a few seconds behind them. Very sorry. If you'd like to have it so that we don't have to do that, go ahead and tell Riot that you want an official English stream, and they'll hire us.
Do that, yeah.
That'd be great.
This is actually the antimatter chroma, the very new one. You could only buy with 300 tokens on the last pass. So
very pretty.
It's very cool to see.
I have that chroma. I have that chroma for Darkstar Mordekaiser.
I even for Darkstar Thresh, which is also very cool. Yeah. Like
Darkstar skins, it's not my favorite skin line because I like other themes more, but they're very high quality skins.
They look very cool. I think it's the best Oriana skin. Even though Oriana actually
it's the
has
Oriana skin.
Yeah, Oriana has some cool skins. This is also the Chrono skin for Wukong, of course, the one he uses in the TFT.
Correct. Vanguard
looks very.
Vanguard is called.
I'm not sure.
I don't remember. I don't play enough Wukong.
He is Vanguard Chrono, so maybe it mixed up your things there. I don't know. I just don't know how he's called.
As there is a gank in the bot lane. DK did come in, but it was diffused by Lisa. Pushed him back out of that one.
Strong again. Yeah, Lisa was so far in the series. He had an outstanding game 1 where I think he earned an MVP if we would have given one. And then game 2 was quiet and just stayed behind and provided his team with some nice shields. So he played decently well, but didn't really do much. Game 3 was not the greatest. He actually failed some very important, some very crucial shields on the Braum. So now he has to go back to his game 1 form to actually bring person back to 2-2 and maybe enable them to go for another opportunity in the winners final.
Hopefully. If you're a Percent fan, that's obviously what you want. Glory's having a great time. Glory's having a great time with the emotes. I mean, I support emotes being enabled in pro play, but Glory, calm down a little, mate. Go to Worlds and then you can use emote. Go to Worlds.
Oh no, stop, please. Instead of getting wrecked in trades, that's why he has so much time to respond to emotes. It's like, oh, no, I missed another CS, a sad B. I got out-traded, angry B.
I still think the best way to use an emote is right after you get solo killed. You get solo killed and then flash your mastery as a corpse. It's the best one. That's the best joke. But yeah, this is a bit of a rough lane in terms of trades, but it is Corki. Of course, he's doing fine in CS, can just go land the phosphorus bombs when it matters.
I'm surprised he hasn't.
And the autos.
I'm quite surprised he hasn't gone for an early reset for tier, because of course that's now the new Corki build everyone likes to go for. It scales very well into late game. It's super strong on 2 items as well. The 3-item spike is not quite as hard as the old crit Corki, but he still makes up for all the nerfs he received last year, where they took away a lot of his AD. He actually lost something like 18 AD on level 18, so a ridiculous amount of AD. They just chunked off him, like 2 long swords. And yeah, this is one of the highest AD items in the game, of course. The Muramana gives something like 80, 85 AD. Makes a lot of sense to build on him.
For sure. Sorry about that. I just... there's rain getting into my house and my window's closed. Concerned.
That is not supposed to happen.
I'm very concerned. But never mind. Every day we'll suffer through to make sure we can bring the cast to you. It's been a really bad storm here. It's really bad. It's also really cold. It's like 6 degrees. Not having a good day.
Oh man, I actually had to.
OPG is having a good first dragon.
Yeah, nice first rotation. Used all their priority. Used the reset timing for mid lane to just go for the free dragon. But now they want to punish.
PHT takes a lot of damage. Flashes away. Flash for flash.
Actually, very good timing for the gank for Percent, because of course everyone else reset and they knew PHT was not level 6. This gank would have been super dangerous. If PHT had hit level 6 before, because then, of course, he can lock down everyone who approaches him under turret with his ult. So very smart timing and force out the flash. Of course, they invested flash from Jasi as well. So just the flash for flash trade, but gives Corki a little bit more time to just scale up, to just farm minions. He's still even though the lane so far has been heavily advantageous for PHT. So, yeah. Quite a good look for Percent still.
But look at the jungle farm.
Oh, wow.
That's rough. That's a lot of camps.
That is quite a big advantage.
Yeah.
This time around, Jasi has not been able to find the early kills. that he did find in the first game, where I think he was behind in farm as well, because he just constantly
lanes
ganking.
constantly.
Yeah, so makes a lot of sense. So we also have to comment on Shine actually going for the DPS build this time around. Last time we saw the Varus first pick, he went for lethality and didn't really do anything.
I feel like lethality would have been better this game. You've got a Corki to auto attack, right?
Been a very solid
better than
choice.
It was in the other game.
Yeah, that is for sure. That is for sure. It was a very weird choice in the second game where he went for lethality Varus. And they just lacked the damage on the late game team fights and lost the game for no reason, even though they showed us some of the best macro a VCSB team has ever shown us. So quite sad.
Some of the best macro the VCS has ever shown us in the promo tournament, which is exciting.
Also a little weird.
Very weird. But it's a slow early game here. It is this massive jungle lead, and you see that DK is just walking into the enemy jungle completely fearless, which is not a good sign for Percent at all.
Yeah. It's interestingly kind of the opposite for game 2, where game 1 it was, where Percent had winning lanes in every...
Game 2 was the Olaf.
Yeah, I think, game 2. They had winning lanes everywhere, and we're constantly in waiting. The enemy jungler didn't get to play the game. This time around, it's the other way around. So Percent is in a disadvantage in almost every lane. Top lane is even in CS, and all the lanes are even in CS, basically, but they still have no priority whatsoever. So far, Corki has been sitting under his own turret, wanting to avoid PHT as much as he can. Same for YT against
Kemken, very aggressive here, going in, but the Rift Herald was secured. The rest of the team has arrived, and the second Cyclone is used. The Rage Cage comes in, YT flashing away, but he's going to get found regardless. He'll go down momentarily, and Lisa has to run. There's the Gravitum ult, too easy. Oh, but he flashes away from the Orianna ult, and Lisa does survive, but unfortunately for them, YT and Jase can't say the same.
Percent got too greedy. They once again wanted to do too much on the map. They wanted to have the Rift Herald and also sneak the anti-Rift Herald play in the bot lane, where their bot lane actually stayed in bot, at least the ADC did. So they wanted to double win the Rift Herald bargain, where usually you trade your bot lane.
Is this that bad? Yes, you lost the immediate gold of 2 kills, but you got 2 tower plates and Rift Herald.
Yeah, that's fair enough. They actually can equalize the gold again.
You lose tempo.
If you want, if this play is successful, you win so much. You win 2 plates on the bot side, which already happened. You also win at least 2 plates on one of the other lanes when you utilize the Rift Herald. So if this would have been successful for them, they could have just basically blown open the game very early on. But of course, PHT and all the friends are here.
Oh, Lisa hooked the clone as well.
Yeah. It was a very strong team fight for Wukong as well. He just went in, basically 1v3, and then his J4, of course, caught up to him. But he just bought so much time that the rest of the team could arrive. Of course, they still lose their stall, so it's an opportunity for Jase to maybe his flash is up in 10 seconds.
Could go in, but it looks like he is just going to swim away.
Yeah,
oh, no, he's back.
I think he has to make this play work.
Dragon is up, so the enemy jungler is actually pretty close by. This could be pretty bad for Jase. Everyone's spotted. I think they just let this dragon go. What's it going to be, Yulwei? Can you get 2 in a row?
Cloud.
Cloud? Okay. So everyone cross your fingers for Infernal. He's done it! He can call him now! He's the real weatherman. The curse is lifted, truly.
So it's Clouddrake. Yes. I always want to see Clouddrake. I think Clouddrake is super fun to watch because everyone zooming around, especially Aphelios and also Wukong Cloud Soul.
Filthy.
That is super exciting. So,
That's really gross.
I just love watching Cloud Soul.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's one of the more interesting Dragon Souls because it's not one of those you get it or you lose. It's not Ocean, right? Ocean's a bit boring because it's just a win condition. Just straight up win. Which makes decisions around Dragon very binary. With Cloud Soul, there's legitimate argument to, well, can we lose Cloud Soul and get Baron?
Yeah, absolutely. And Cloud Soul, I think, is undervalued a lot.
Okay.
There are team compositions where Cloud Soul really doesn't do much, but I think 10% movement speed is actually quite a lot. And you have to think back to the times, I think it was around season 3, season 4, I don't remember, where the triple movement speed quints were actually super popular, and that was only 4.5% movement speed. You have to remember, these were some of the highest win rate runes, and it's just movement speed, not actual combat stats. And that thing gives you 10%. It's more than double. So I think it's actually undervalued quite a bit. Movement speed is an important stat in this.
Yeah, for sure. Funnily enough, latest balance changes, Karthus lost movement.
Yes.
Important. He's now slower than Yumi.
Yumi's actually not that slow.
I think she's the second slowest in the game.
I don't think so. I've had some ADCs where I was like, okay, I'll just
hang on a second.
There's a fight.
As there is a fight, the flash forward from DK. He is so aggressive. Throws out the cage, gets hooked. Shine flashes out, has been depth charged. Can Lisa find a way out? No, Jase is like, this is a very scared shark in the alcove, but gets away. The teleport coming in now. YT couldn't have done that while your jungler was still here. The knock-ups land, but what the hell is this? As he's just getting collapsed on, there's a big Orianna ult, and what is going on?
Hey, now Glory's here.
Glory's arrived, and Jase's back. It's round 2. They will be able to pick up the kill onto Kem, but can Jase get out? They certainly can. PHT very low. Glory. No, the turret shot won't kill Vit. This is just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what I expected to see today.
Oh my god!
Next level Fiesta gameplay.
Why did they TP after Jase bead?
I just love how Jase was too scared to even try to help the spotlight. He's like, nope, get me out of here.
No, but that was probably the right call, right? Just say, okay, no, this is scuffed, get out.
Flash available, honestly. So.
I don't think he could have saved them, though. I actually don't mind Jase's call. I hate the call from YT. Either go and commit the teleport. Oh, nope, stream's crashed. Oh, dear.
Same for me, too.
Okay, good. It's not my fault. It's on the Vietnamese end. Well, we're going to stare at a rotating circle for a little bit.
Nice. Are you at 1430 as well?
Yes, dead on. So it is the Vietnamese stream that's crashed. Ooh, we back. We're moving. Woo. Good job.
Are we?
We'll find out.
Now we're moving. Yeah.
I'm still frozen.
Nope.
I'm at
45 now.
Yeah, I'm at 35.
Okay. Nice.
Oh,
no.
Everything's getting a little dodgy, and they're moving again.
And
they're stopped again every 5 seconds.
At least they're not like taking away the gameplay once again. Which happened this season.
And here's a replay, and back to life. As Jase's been caught out, he's absolutely gone. Xin will get the kill, and we freeze again. This is not the best. The Vietnamese stream, unfortunately, is struggling a lot. This is actually not on our end. Nothing we can do about it. Just have to deal with it.
Live overlay right now?
I have the live overlay? Oops, no. You're calling me out on the cast now. Normally just ping in the chat. Jesus.
We seem to be back in game.
It's a little bit laggy, but the dragon has died. I'm moving. What are you at?
Okay.
Oh, we're at. Has it killed our sync?
Far ahead now. Yeah, it absolutely
what are you at?
Killed our sync. 16, 17.
Okay,
18.
you need to refresh because I'm like 20 seconds ahead of you.
That is unfortunate.
That's not great. This we love when the Vietnamese stream has tech issues because it just is a domino effect to us. Not much fun. Just a replay of Jase getting absolutely destroyed. No chance there.
It's actually better for me to watch our Twitch right now because it's better in sync than my.
What are you at?
No, the replay just started. So
okay, that's not ideal. We will have to work this out. So I'm just gonna throw up
17 now.
You're 20 seconds behind. I am just gonna.
I'll try to.
Just try resetting again. If it doesn't work, we'll just have to do a hard sync. Again, we're very sorry about this, guys. If you don't like this, go tell Riot to hire us as the official stream.
Either, by the way.
Pardon?
We don't like it either, by the way.
Oh, no, we hate it. It's very annoying. It's the bane of my existence. But yeah, go tell Riot to hire us and give us a studio where we can sit next to each other. We'll move to I'll move to Vietnam for that. Hell yeah. Straight away.
So what's going on?
We're at 18 minutes.
Yeah, I haven't reopened the stream.
Oh.
Wanted to hard reset my browser again.
Good idea.
Maybe get a little bit closer.
Kemken is pushing in the bot lane here.
So I'm at 18 now.
So I'm just going to throw up our pause screen while we fix things. Sorry, everybody. We will be back in game momentarily. I will pause at 18:30.
Oh, man.
But you can kind of, while you're catching up, give us your impressions of this game so far.
Yeah. So 2 items now completed for Corky. So at least he has a small little chance of actually carrying this one. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. There we go.
We should be back in sync, and we will flick back over to the game. Again, very sorry, guys. Nothing we can really do about it. We're casting from Europe and Australia. So again, hire us, Riot. I'll work for peanuts. But yeah, here we are back in game. Catch us up with how everything's been going here.
So we have a small gold lead for OPG, but much more important, of course, is the dragon lead. Only 1 dragon away from the super early soul snowball. And they should be in a very good position to actually fight for the soul. Look at the items. Let's check in. We have Wukong sitting on 2, so he's in a strong position. We have DK fully equipped to team fight right now with, of course, Cinder Hulk into Stoneplate. So he's super tanky in team fights. Yeah, I think they should just brute force the Dragon Soul in 2 minutes. And I don't think there's enough items to really fight against them. YT, if he hits level 13, there might be a chance. Because level 13 on, of course, is super strong. Sadly, though, he went for the wrong build. So he's not actually as strong as he could be.
Yeah, he's gone for the Frozen Fist. Is interesting.
Which is super surprising considering there's an Oriana.
Looking at China, I guess. The LPL do it every game.
Yeah, it's true.
So...
They actually really commit to the side lane matchup. And this honestly helps them a lot against Wukong. It's quite a good build in the 1v1.
But is Kemken get a side lane? He's playing Wukong.
Yeah, and this will make him very vulnerable to PHT. And it's not like Oriana can't kill... I mean, she's not the greatest champ at killing high HP targets.
No, but...
She can do it. She can do it.
She's better than some burst mages.
Yeah, she's better than Syndra. For example, against Syndra, you can actually do this. Or you can just say, okay, Syndra, if you want to hit me, fair enough, then you can't hit my carry. So I'll just ignore MR.
Uh-oh. YT, he's got all that armor. The great flash into the charge, and he's out of there.
There's another one.
Oh, but no, he's got another friend, and he blows the Orn Horn, but the cage will keep him locked up for long enough. And it was a fantastic effort by YT. But, when we switch back over, we're on the Baron, but it's too slow. This is not an Aphelios with a red and a white gun. So they pull off it.
Deja vu. It's kind of like game 2.
Yep.
Where they tried Baron and just threw it all away.
At least they got off this time.
Yeah, and they are already in a disadvantage. So it's
ooh, this is actually bad. This is Cloud Soul. No Orn. Paris just reset.
This might be the fastest Cloud Soul I've ever seen. It's before 22 minutes.
This is ridiculously fast, and it's not even contested. Yeah. This is Cloud Soul secured for Overpower Gaming, and they are in... Well, the driver's seat doesn't quite describe it.
Yeah, indeed.
I don't think Percent got in the car.
And this now offers some very nice leeway to OPG, where they can kind of half commit to team fights. Just use your ults and try to catch someone. If it doesn't work, who cares? You have double Cloud Dragon. Your ultimates will be off cooldown quickly enough, especially something like Orianna ult that already sits on something like only 60 seconds cooldown. So, yeah, this replay honestly is. Why are we?
Oh, I mean, it was a good play.
Yeah,
I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, they just swap positions. Just two blitzcranks staring at each other in TFT.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw that meme. It was very
Yeah, I did.
Two Spider-Man. I love it. But yeah, it was YT. He did everything he could. He did everything right, but he was 1v5. It is a Cloud Soul secured, as you said, and this game is a tale of two junglers, as Jase has not repeated his performance on this Rek'Sai.
Yeah, sadly, he's looking
a little
bit like DK looked in the first game. So
looking like DK looked for most of the split. But anyway, moving on.
I wanted to get back to the point I wanted to make about Cloud Soul. So you can actually just try to brute force some fights and see if it works. If it doesn't work, you have 50% extra movement speed to disengage again. So it's very easy to create good situations now for OPG because they kind of have the opportunity to try again. Mulligan, if you want to say that. So just go for an engage, see if it sticks, and if it doesn't, try again a few seconds later.
Yep, that's definitely a benefit of Cloud Soul. You can also play side lanes very easily and rotate, because you just rotate so ridiculously fast. The mid lane tower is broken out here. Xin flying forward, and look at all the damage the Orianna ult. The Ken is spinning and winning, doing so much. YT with a good knock up to try and hold them back, but it's only two members of the Percent Boys left, and it will very soon just be one. The big minion that is Jase is the only one that lives. They should just go to Baron right now. OPG, looking like the boys from Optimus Town are going to get a nice little win in that book.
And that was the brute force team fight we were talking about. And boy, oh boy, did it work out. What the holy moly. There was no damage coming from the Percent at all. Glory, of course, got caught by Xin, so he had to disengage very early in the fight. Wasn't able to even get close to the fight afterwards. Shine died immediately. Jase doesn't deal damage. YT is sitting duck on the tank, doesn't deal damage either. So that was quite. I think that was one of the most one-sided team fights with an only 3k gold advantage or something I've ever seen. It was a blowout. There was absolutely no chance.
It was over very quickly, for sure. Now the question becomes, how can Percent get back into this? Stealing an Elder? It's going to be a 27.5-minute Elder.
Yeah. It has to start with the steal, with the Elder steal into teamfight victory, and then you can slowly move your way back into the game. Most of the time, if you talk about Elder, it's like, okay, if you get Elder, you actually win the game. Nope, not the case here. You need multiple Elders. I think you need to look at least 2 Elder Dragons to come back here.
That's not a good situation.
Nope, it really is not. So, well, I think the Elder will probably be the final nail in the coffin. They already put all the nails in place and hammered
at this
all
point,
the one in.
At this point, they had all the nails in, and then they said, you know what, I'm not done. Took the nails out. Now they're just hitting the corpse. It's really not nice.
Yeah, it's really.
So the Elder will be putting the nails back in. As
that they can also
the base is
brute force
broken.
another fight.
Why
They
not?
have Baron, they have all the advantages are on their side. They can just brute force another fight with Wukong as well. He's level 16 already.
Yeah, 260 farm here at 26 minutes, doing very well for himself. 60 farm ahead of his lane opponent. The jungle is still split by 50 CS as Glory zooms forward with the package.
And there's so much, so much more value on the J4 compared to the Rek'Sai, of course. Rek'Sai.
Ooh, they want to try and get a catch on
items.
PHT, but not even close. Too speedy.
He's way too speedy. And in that situation, actually, Cloud Soul can come in super handy. You can just ult Sombrero style and just run away with 50% extra movement speed. Gets too dicey. So,
It's true.
I really like the extra utility from Cloud Soul. I actually think it gets underrated too much. But now we have the Elder Dragon fight in 40 seconds. Can we see some executes? Can we see a pentakill maybe to close out the day?
Maybe. There's every possibility
Wukong
of
pentakill?
the big Wukong pentakill. I was about to say it. Presses R with an Elder, does a lot of damage.
And spins around with a Cloud Soul. It's actually the perfect setup.
Yeah, this is Ken, if you're ever going to blow... Oh, my God.
Oh, my. Well,
We're not getting
no need for Elder,
We're not
I
getting a
guess.
pentakill because Jarse is not going to respawn before the game ends.
Yeah.
This is a little bit rough for
Look at
sure.
this shit
DK
forward.
just charging in the stone plate, making him so tanky. Only took half his health, tanking the ADC for so long. YT goes down. It will be Lisa to follow them next. I assume it is. And this will be all of percent melted away. We didn't get a
Quadra
penta,
kill.
but we did get a quadra. And who could it be except Aphelios? And OPG start their promotion tournament off with a series win, and 2 of the games looked very good.
And don't I look smart comparing this series to the EVOS against Flash series? It happened exactly the same way.
You're cheating.
games.
You have the script. Except you don't have the dragon
games.
script.
Yeah, I had in the last 2 games.
True, you did this
obviously.
year.
So the 2 games looked better for one team, but they throw the second one, and then suddenly the other team has 2 good early games and just stomp the 2 games. Same exact script as in the series between Flash and EVOS, of course, our semifinal there was. So yeah, Overpower looking like the stronger team in the last 2 games, and overall, I think the better team won today.
I agree.
But percent at least looking competitive.
Yep, I agree with that. Percent did look very good. QG and FTV earlier today looked like VCSB, while I think this series wouldn't have looked out of place in the VCSA. But are we going to give a series MVP? I think we should.
If you want to, yeah.
Up to you.
It's not super
you think of anyone?
easy. I think it might be Vit for
that's
his
what I was
ADC
thinking.
performances. He got all the kills on the team fights. PhD had some very strong performances as well. I think PhD comes to mind.
I'm leaning
But
towards
yeah,
Vit.
DK was too bad in the first 2 games. So yeah, I think Vit is a very good call.
Sure, so we'll lock that one in.
Happens.
And
If the team is team fight focused, I think ADC has a very good shot at
Of
getting
course.
that MVP in the end.
very true. And that actually brings us to the end of today. It was a long day because of the 3-hour pause between series. Cool. Hopefully we don't have that again. That wasn't fun. But that is it. Thank you for joining us, everyone. This has been the VCS English. My name is Everyday. With me has been Yulwei. Down below the stream, there are a bunch of buttons you can click. Some of them will take you to our Discord. One of them will let you give us money. Ooh, exciting. But you definitely should find the Discord one. That's the best one. Come join us in our community. Have a chat about the VCS with other like-minded people that speak not Vietnamese. So, love to see you there, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. Not sure who it'll be. It'll be me and someone covering the next games of the promotion tournament. See you guys then. We hope you enjoyed
Same
today.
time as today.
Yep. So we'll see you then, guys.
Thanks for joining us and have a good day.